River Ridge team that will be on display tonight as they are trying to once again jump over yet another county team, something they had not done prior to this season at all in their 13-year history. But after wins against Etowah and Woodstock this year, will Creekview be the next in line? That question will be answered tonight behind one of the state's leading rushers, and Amir Morrison, who comes into the game through 5 games, over 1,000 yards already on the season. Needless to say, a tough Creekview Grizzly defense that's allowing just over 5 points a game will be tested once again here tonight. Should be a great matchup, and we thank you for joining us and making us your home for entertainment on Friday night as we bring you the Cherokee County Game of the Week. We'll take a 2-minute break, and then we will welcome you into the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. The Golden Boy, Will Cooper, and our very own Vaughn Touchdown Brown will have that for you as the countdown to kickoff begins. We're now less than 30 minutes away from River Ridge and Creekview. Stay with us. You're listening to the Cherokee County Game of the Week on North Georgia's 101.1 FM WLJA.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Hi, I'm Dave Garner.
And I'm Janet Mueller.
And we're your local Woodman Life representatives.
You know, Dave, it must be tough announcing games and still providing financial security through life insurance, retirement, and member benefits.
Well, Janet, it's an honor, but it means that I have a great partner when it comes to protecting families from financial hardship.
So come see us.
Or call us at 706-273-9347.
Or 770-894-7898.
And find out how Woodman Life can help you leave memories, not expenses. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Welcome into the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside my good friend, Vaughn Touchdown Brown. Vaughn wasn't with us last week. We're glad we're back with us because at least we don't have to deal with Arthur Mosley and his inability to be excited about anything. So we're glad that you're back. A little bit of emphasis today would be nice. And, Art, we do appreciate you, partner. We're glad that you're over there. He's going to be keeping us updated on some of the other scores around the county. But, Vaughn, welcome back in, partner.
Thank you for having me. And, you know, what you learn when you're not here, I'm touchdown Brown tonight. Last week I was fourth down. I was fourth down Brown. I listened to the whole thing. It was great. I got to watch Cherokee on TV on Steve Majors and listen to you guys. It was great. But I did learn a lot of things about myself that I did not know before.
Well, I think the big thing that's important for you, Vaughn, is that, you know, like I said, you and Art both have a lot of football knowledge, but Art does not have the excitement that you have. Art makes me want to fall asleep listening to you guys.
Yeah, so, we're working on that. You know, we do a podcast on Wednesday, obviously. He launches it Thursday night. We're working on that. We're working on it.
And the reason that I'm going so hard on Art is because he took an unsolicited shot at me.
He did.
In the podcast about my height, which I can't do anything about, and I also can't help the fact that he's a giant. So, you know, sorry that there's the middle ground there, but I'm only a few inches shorter than the average, or at least that's what Dave tells me. But anyway, let's get into some football, why don't we? Let's start off with the Etowah and Milton game. Etowah comes into this matchup 0-5, losses against Creekview, River Ridge, North Forsyth, North Cobb, and Roswell. Not an easy schedule there. Milton comes in 4-1, 4 wins against Johns Creek, Hapville Charter, McEachern, and Alpharetta, and a loss against Cedar Grove, which, as I like to say, is a 3A team, and Art, as aforementioned, likes to say it's a 7A defense. I don't know about that one. Milton comes into this one pretty big favorite, picked by 34 in my rankings, 32 by Cal Prep, 17 by the Turd Ferguson Report. Pat O'Shea, who's standing to the right of me, we appreciate having him in the box. He picked them by 14. Series tied 6-6 all time. Kemper is 2-4 all time against Milton. Now that he's with Etowah, we'll see how that plays out. What are you feeling about that game?
I mean, the beauty of it, I think, going into tonight is just knowing Etowah competed like they did last week against Roswell. And we didn't know what Roswell was, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But, Etowah competed. They gave themselves chances. They got turnovers, and Clivert Minnie was huge in that game. So I think the foundation for Etowah was get back to a run game, get back to playing some power football because they're not as stable at the quarterback. They're not able to just go light people up through the air. So it's tremendous that for that first region game for them, even though it was Roswell, they did compete and competed wholeheartedly. The problem they run into tonight, Adam Clack, he's 34-10, 77% winning percentage. He's got a 7A state championship under his belt versus Colquitt County. It's just not going to be easy for them tonight. I mean, and Patrick O'Shea, Snacks, said it this week. When you start researching that team, they've got D1 guys all over the place. LT Overton, the number one, nationwide number one player in the class of 2023. It's going to be tough, but I think Kemper, go compete.
That's exactly what you're hoping for from Etowah. Like I said, they're looking for their first win of the season, but the schedule has not been easy. Losses against Creekview here with only one loss. River Ridge undefeated. North Forsyth and North Cobb, not easy customers, and Roswell going in undefeated. And speaking of Roswell, let's jump into the big game outside of the game that we're at here, and we'll get into that later in the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. Cherokee making the trip down to Roswell. That game will be on GPB. So if you haven't had the opportunity, go ahead and flip the TV on, but mute it because we want you to listen to us, obviously. You don't want to listen to the GPB guys. But you want to listen to us. That way you can get double the Cherokee County football, but it's a good one over there. Cherokee comes in 6-0, wins against Carver in the Corky Cal. Wins against Sequoia, Rome, Creekview, Cartersville, and Woodstock, a 41-7 win last week. Roswell comes in 5-0, wins against Centennial, North Paulding, Campbell, Walton, and Etowah. Wow, one of those schedules sounds a lot better than the others, doesn't it? Coming into this one, Cherokee's a 24-point favorite according to my rankings, a 20-point favorite according to CalPreps. Our good friend Turd Ferguson has them picked at 2. Pat has them at 11-point clip. And Roswell leads the all-time series 17-3. This is the 21st meeting for these two teams. Vaughn, what are you looking for in this one?
I mean, historically, Roswell owns this series, but we're not. Tonight's not history, and kind of Cherokee's building their own. Right, the 5th time they've been 6-0 in school history. Talked to Josh a couple times this week. He continues to go back to the leadership, whether young or senior leadership on this team. He said he's never had it before. He's in his 9th season at Cherokee. He said he's just never had a team this close, this cohesive with different avenues of leadership and not just a couple guys. Roswell, we know what they are. They're undefeated as well. They're 5-0. I'm with you, though. I don't think their schedule's been stacked nearly what Josh and Jeremy Adams did for that Cherokee schedule early in the year, Rome and Cartersville, and we've talked about it a ton. I mean, nobody thought they were coming out of that undefeated. They did. They put themselves in a position and given those kids so much confidence. And then what they did with A.J. coming off that bye week, because he had been struggling throwing the ball a little bit, but he had been playing some great defenses, the night he had against Woodstock. And they didn't put up a ton of yards because the Harshaw kick return, things fell in their lap a little bit. But, I look for A.J. to stay hot. But, at the end of the day, Clivert Minnie had his way with Roswell. I see the same thing. We said it before we went on air. I see Keith Adams Jr. having potentially a huge night over at Roswell, and I hope he does.
Let's talk about a little bit more of an even matchup as we talk about Alpharetta and Woodstock. Alpharetta comes into this game 1-3, one win against Chattahoochee, which oddly enough is in the region of the game that we'll be talking about tonight. There are 3 losses against North Cobb, Collins Hill, and Milton, so not an easy schedule for them. Woodstock comes into this one 2-4. Their 2 wins against Sequoia and Campbell. Their 4 losses against River Ridge, Creekview, Calhoun, and Cherokee, so not an easy schedule for them either. Those 4 losses look pretty good. Alpharetta comes in at a 17-point favorite according to my rankings, a 9-point favorite according to CalPreps. Art has them picked at 4 points. Pat has them at a 7-point clip, and this is the first meeting between these two teams. This is really going to be the decision for maybe that 4th and final spot in that region. Should be a good game over there. What are you looking for in particular?
You're right. I mean, there's something on the line tonight because, at the end of the day, Woodstock can't really afford another loss. They've still got some tough ones coming up. They've already played Cherokee, but you still got Roswell. You still got Milton. These loss. Coach John Thompson this week, the defensive coordinator at Alpharetta, and just asked him what he was seeing in Woodstock, and he said with that transition they made when they went to Dan Como, their run game is now short passing, and he said he's never seen a team. He's coached college, he's coached at every level. He's never seen a team get it out of the quarterback's hand as quick as Woodstock is right now. Now, my counter to that was, why are they not getting into the end zone? So I think they're moving the ball similar to what Creekview was earlier in the year. They're getting to the red zone, and they're having some issues. So it's still that team, if they put it together, find the end zone a little bit more, it's a dangerous squad. But, Alpharetta's the same. They played a very, very tough non-region schedule. Their 3 losses against just juggernauts in 7A. But that defense is going to keep them in games. It's just does the offense at Alpharetta catch up quick enough before they get too deep into this region and it's too late?
That's not the last Cherokee County game that we have, but that is it for this Friday. Let's jump into a quick out-of-county game before we finish up the county, and that is Gilmer and Dawson County. They will be playing tonight. Gilmer comes into this contest 3-2, wins against Murray County, East Jackson, and Lumpkin County. A historic win over there, scoring 62 points in one half, a new school record over there. Final win of 62-7 for homecoming. Good for those Bobcats. 2 losses against Pickens and Cherokee Bluff. Dawson County comes into this one 2-3, but don't let that fool you. Their 2 wins against Northview and White County, and their 3 losses are against Cass, Flowery Branch, and South Forsyth. Dawson County comes into this one a 22-point favorite, according to Cal Preps. Gilmer leads the all-time series 7-2, but this is a whole different game for them. Gilmer comes in as a wing T team. Dawson County has the leading rusher, passer, and receiver in 3A, that region. So look out for those Dawson County kids as they come in to play. The other game that we have is not actually a Friday night game. We're getting a little bit of a Monday night special due to some COVID complications, not with Sequoia, but with Cambridge over there in Fulton County, excuse me. Cambridge and Sequoia will be played Monday at 7 p.m. That also pushes those games back for both of those teams to Saturday. So neither of those teams will play on Friday nights for the next few weeks, but you can expect them to come up with that later. Cambridge comes into this one 2-3 with wins against North Oconee and Centennial. Their 3 losses against Forsyth Central, Creekview, the team that we see here, and Langston Hughes, a rare out-of-region game after a region game. And Sequoia comes in 0-5. Their 5 losses in order are Woodstock, Cherokee, Cass, Johns Creek, and Creekview, so not an easy schedule for them. Cambridge comes in at an 8-point favorite according to my rankings, a 4-point favorite according to Cal Preps, a 3-point favorite according to Art, and Sequoia leads the all-time series 2-0 between these 2 teams. Very quickly, what do you feel about this game going into it?
You know, Sequoia's trying to keep themselves out of becoming a spoiler-type team. And what I mean by that, the playoffs are, you know, a couple more losses here. The playoffs are out of reach, and all of a sudden you're trying to spoil somebody else's season. You don't want to do that. You know, 2 veteran coaches here. Teeter's doing everything he can. They've got to find a way to get a win, and they can. They can go beat a Cambridge, but we won't find out till Monday night, like you said.
100%. It's supposed to be a good matchup over there for sure. The game that we're at tonight is the Creekview Grizzlies. We're here at the Grizzly Den for the second time this season. The first time we were here, it was for the battle when they played Cherokee. Cherokee ended up winning that one 14-9, but it came right down to the end, and that's really been the story of this Creekview team coming into this one. Their 4 wins against Etowah, won that one 14-13. Came down to the last play, though. We were there for that one. Woodstock, they shut them out defensively, but offensively they were able to score a 2-point safety, so it's 16-2, but really the defense shut them out over there. They shut out Cambridge 19-0, and then Sequoia 24-0. So really 3 shutouts for them, and the 1 loss to Cherokee, as we mentioned, 14-9. Once again, the safety bug hit them over there. And Coach William comes into this season. It's his second year, 10-5 overall, 1-0 versus the Ridge. And Creekview leads this all-time series 8-0. River Ridge comes into this one 5-0, 2-0 in the region, and 3-0 away. By the way, Creekview has only had 1 home game. They'll have a whole bunch of home games coming up towards the back half of this schedule, and they come in 0-1 with that loss to Cherokee. Their 5 wins against Lassiter, 49-21, really the coming-out party for them. Beat Woodstock in a close one, 22-17. Destroyed Etowah, 38-7. The score was not really reflective of how close that game was. Chattahoochee beat them 52-35 in a show of offensive power, and then battled it out with Riverwood last week and beat them 21-14. Coach Mike Collins coming into his second season, and believe it or not, with that win last week, he is now in the positive win column. He is 8-7 overall with the River Ridge Knights, and once again, Collins is 0-1 against Creekview. Coming up into this one, Art, there's a lot to talk about this one.
He's probably listening. Art better be listening, but I am touchdown Brown.
Well, I was confused, you see, because you're like 5'10", and I'm just used to looking up at the ceiling with Art. You guys look so similar, by the way.
Exactly.
You know, you talk similar.
That podcast, we become each other after the podcast.
That's why I got to call everybody by their nickname. You know, if I call him Turd, I don't have to think about it. It's a lot simpler. But Vaughn, I promise that's the last time I'll make that mistake. You're good. But I tell you, coming into this one, there's a lot of excitement about this one. I know that the podcast, if you haven't listened to it, Friday Nights at the Taverns, really fired up between you 2 guys. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of stats being thrown out. In these kind of games, you kind of have to feel like that Creekview comes in with a little bit of an advantage just because of the talent and also that they've been here before. You know, in 2018, we were here when they beat Harrison on that last play right at the goal line. They were here in 2019. They are used to the big game. River Ridge, not so much. Their lack of success might come back to bite them today, but they're going to do their best to try and put it out of reach early. What are your keys to the game, and what are you looking for in this game? And we'll break it up into 2 segments because there's a whole lot to talk about.
There is a lot. You know, and I mean, I think for me it's it's getting to this point in the season and still having 2 county teams that have a meaningful game at this point, because sometimes we don't always have that. A couple years ago, 2018, obviously we did, but it's great. 2 second-year coaches at their schools, Trevor and Coach Collins, putting this product on the field. And, I've gone back and forth on this so many times this week, just like everybody has, and we've talked about it, we've texted about it. After we watched the Etowah River Ridge game, River Ridge blew us away, and how fundamentally sound they were on defense, how versatile they were on offense, and they're not just Amir Morrison. They are a lot more than Amir Morrison, but at the end of the day, they have him, and the other teams don't. And that was the great equalizer that we talked about Wednesday night was, he can change the game in a second. And not that Creekview doesn't have that player. Creekview a little bit more utilizing everybody, not leaning on one person maybe like they did Ethan Durham last year. But Amir Morrison can change a game with 1 carry, and that's what Creekview's awesome defense is going to try to stop from happening tonight.
100%. When you look at this Creekview team, one of the things that strikes you is the ability that they have all across the field. They have talent all over the place. This run-first team, 138 pass yards per game, 152 rush yards, but it's led by Brody Rhodes. We'll talk a little bit about him in the coming up segment, but it's really about Tyler Stevens leading this rushing attack for them. He comes in with 96 carries, 395 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he's also a big part in the receiving game with 14 receptions, 188 yards, and 2 touchdowns as well. Once again, you're listening to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta pregame show. I'm your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Vaughn Brown. We're going to pause for 2 minutes, and we come back. We'll bring you the second half of the preview for this game between the Creekview Grizzlies and the River Ridge Knights. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packerland Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity, member FNIRA and SIPC.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria speaking for Woodstock Furniture Outlet and Woodstock Mattress Stores.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Now we know during post-COVID, everybody's raising their prices, not us. And at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet, we have the best 0% interest-free financing available. Come and see us at the Furniture Store in Akron, Hire, Monroe, and come and see our mattress-only stores in Canton, Kennesaw, and Douglasville, and get the best savings.
Welcome back to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. Once again, I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Touchdown Vaughn Brown to the left side of me here. Also to the left side, sitting on the very high step stool that makes him look like he's actually 3'8" and a small child, except for his overbearing weight, Dave Garner. We'll introduce him back into the broadcast later. That's the last time I'm going to pick on you for the pregame show. I promise that's it, okay? And I do have to apologize once again, Vaughn. I apologize that I called you Art.
Art did send a text. He said he gets called Vaughn all the time, so we're used to it. We played basketball together so long. We're basically twins.
Exactly. I mean, they're similar. They're very similar in the way that they act, except, like I said, you actually are excited about things, and, you actually do hold up your end of the bets. I was promised some Travis Scott meals by Art Mosley.
Never came to fruition.
Never came to fruition. McDonald's doesn't do them anymore, so my feelings aren't hurt that
Promos
bad.
Run out. Promotions have an end date, so you got to take advantage of it when you can take advantage of it.
And he was with us last week and showed up empty-handed, and Dave, where I was sitting there, saying we could have gotten a little burger. Also to the right side of me, Ronnie Cooper. He'll be doing stats for us tonight. And Snacks, as we like to call him, Patrick O'Shea with the Cherokee Tribune. He's going down to the field in just a minute. He doesn't want me to talk about about him, so I'm not going to. Smart man, smart man. But we were talking about, before we went to break here, we were talking about the Creekview ability to spread the ball around, and they have a lot of guys that they can do that too. Of course, they are still without Andrew Cloy. He had a collarbone injury. It seems pretty serious, so he's still out for this one, it seems. But he's going to have Dawson Curry to throw to, Chase Wright, Tristan Summers, A.J. Vaccaro, Hayden Thompson, Cade Sousa, Tyler Stevens, and, of course, Brody Rose, very mobile himself, 62 carries, 299 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. It should be a good game for them offensively, but really the big question for them is, can they get into the end zone like they did last week?
Well, I know I wasn't here last week, but, I still do all my research, and I get my keys to the game. One of the keys was when they get into the red zone, they may have to have some trickery. They have to get creative, and they do, and they did last week, right? And you may see some more of that this week, because I think when you're just struggling to put it across the goal line and you need those points, I mean, if you get some semblance of points on the board, your defense is going to give you a great chance. But they did that, and they're moving the ball. Brody's getting more and more comfortable, and usually I don't like Brody running it or being the leading carrier, but tonight that could be a huge difference in this game, is to see Brody run the ball. And then just talking to Coach Williams on Wednesday night, we brought up Amir. Obviously, he's looked at him on film. He's known him for a couple years now. But, you have to have multiple guys. Because Amir's small, but, and he's slippery. But at the same time, he's very tough to bring down, especially for one defender. And that's, the beauty of Creekview's defense, I think. And we talked about it in text today with Snacks and everybody. They don't necessarily look like this imposing Cedar Grove-type defense, but they just make plays. And they're very physical, and that's what River Ridge may have to adapt to that early. I don't know if they played a defense as physical as Creekview yet.
Well, when you look at the Creekview offense, one thing that's important to note for the River Ridge defense is that they're going to be playing a team that is not a spread team. This is the first time that River Ridge will face a non-spread team. Creekview likes to run out of the I formation, power formation, single back formation, and the occasional pistol formation when they do get on third down and long. But you're not going to see them send 4 wide receivers out wide. They rely on these backs to catch for them. A.J. Vaccaro comes in 11 receptions, 202 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The tight end, Hayden Thompson, really more of a blocker, but 3 receptions for 21 yards on the year for him. Tristan Summers, 5 receptions, 67 yards, and a touchdown for him. And Dawson Curry comes in 18 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown toss last week, which was a really good play design by them. On the other side of that coin, you're going to look at a River Ridge offense. You mentioned Amir Morrison only standing at 5'7", 150 pounds, but with 113 carries, 1,099 yards. Let's just call it 1,100. Let's make it easy.
Let's do it.
And 15 touchdowns. This kid is on track. We kind of made the comparison about how dominating Jameer Gibbs was. If you want to see something scary, go look at Jameer Gibbs' junior year. And keep in mind, this is Amir Morrison's junior year. We've just called his name for so long because he started as a freshman over there at River Ridge. And it's very shocking, the similarities. Now, obviously, Amir's a little bit of a different back, not as big, but definitely fast. All you have to do is see him get out into open field. But also keep in mind, Carson Latham coming off of a pretty rough game. Threw 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, but on the season looking really good. 52 of 85, 658 yards for 7 touchdowns, standing at 5'11", 150. He's going to rely today on Andrew Bingham, the junior, 5'10", 170 pounds, 27 receptions, 148 yards, coming into this one. Just a great wide receiver over there. He's also going to rely on Riley Canes as well, the 6'1", 210 senior, not 6'10", good Lord. 15 receptions, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns for that young man coming into this one. So there's a lot to be excited about on these 2 offenses, and also on the defenses. That's something that we don't get to talk about a lot, is Creekview's defense is really the main draw for them. But let's keep in mind, River Ridge is keeping teams to 17.4 points allowed per game. And the defense has yet to face a non-spread team, so let's see if they can contain everything and keep it to the middle of the field.
Yeah, I'm looking for, really eyeballing in on this Creekview offense. I think we know what the defense is going to do. How creative are they going to be? What are they going to put Brody in? He's going to run the ball tonight, but are they going to try to establish a ground game like they did over at Etowah? And then how do they score once they get into the red zone? But, we brought up Amir to Trevor on Wednesday, and we did. We gave that comparison to Jameer just because the yardage and having another player in region, thankfully for us, in county, that's up there at the top of the state in rushing regardless of classifications. And if he has a big night tonight, he could go to first in all classifications and not just 6A. And Trevor agreed. He said they were watching tape, and the way he puts his foot in the ground and his cuts, and Jameer Gibbs at the high school level is one of the best cutters and keeping his speed and maintaining speed I had ever seen. He's doing the same thing at Georgia Tech against some heavyweights down there as well. But, it always comes back to me with this Creekview defense. You know, if you compare them to 2018, which was one of the best defenses we've seen in Cherokee County, you know, they gave up 11.6 points per game through 5 games. This 2020 team is sitting at 5.8 points a game, 2 offensive touchdowns on the year. So it's just not an easy thing to get in the end zone. Again, and we said it before we went to the break, the equalizer is Amir Morrison. He can break 3, he can break 4, or they, you know, contain him. They have to get multiple guys to the ball, and Trevor said that on Wednesday. You have to get multiple guys there. It's not going to be a one-on-one tackling deal for Creekview tonight.
Talk about a little bit of good news for the Creekview defense as if you needed more. Owen Mello returning for this game as well.
Right.
A big piece for them. Great job by Taylor Cox-Young, the sophomore defensive back, filling in that role. The last time we saw Owen Mello, he was busy shutting down Darius Harshaw here at the Grizzly Den. And the background music that you hear is introducing the Creekview Grizzlies as they make their walk out. The River Ridge Knights pouring out of there. Only 3 minutes before we get set for kickoff. So, Vaughn, final thoughts here. What are you looking for in this one? Just a real quick wrap-up.
I got real quick keys. River Ridge defense needs to limit Brody on the ground. They have to. They can't let him beat him with his feet. River Ridge offense is going to have to respond to some adversity early. This isn't going to be as easy as it was against some of the teams. Creekview defense has to give the offense a couple short fields because they're not big at scoring major points. And then Creekview will do something special on special teams tonight. They're not just going to be good on special teams. They're going to go get a punt. Creekview will do something on special teams to change this game.
Also, one quick note, Andy Moncada came in for the first time in his career, was 3 for 3 on extra points and made a 33-yard field goal, giving the Creekview offense a little bit of extra range there. We're about 3 minutes away from kickoff. We're going to take our final 2-minute break and exit the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show. When we come back, we'll welcome the golden voice of the broadcast, Dave Garner, to help me bring the rest of this game to you here on WLJA 101.1 FM.
Welcome to Perk Up. What can I get you?
Can I have a large, skinny, non-fat macchiato with
My 15-year-old has the taste buds of a middle-aged woman, but she's no adult. That's why we took her to Children's for her scoliosis. Their pediatric orthopedic program is nationally ranked. Their specialists understand growing bones and how to treat them. My kid ordering an adult-style coffee? Okay. Going to an adult doctor? Not so much.
Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Orthopedics. Where you take them matters. Learn more at choa.org/ortho.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
Hi, it's Dave Garner, voice of the Cherokee County Game of the Week. But did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative and poverty prevention specialist? For over 130 years, Woodman Life has protected families with life insurance and retirement products. And as your local agent, I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Call or text me at 706-273-9347 or visit my Facebook page at Dave Garner Woodman Life to learn how I can help you or your loved ones today. Insurance protection, financial security, Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on enjoycherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
Welcome to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. We're live here at Creekview High School in the Grizzly Den for this matchup between the Creekview Grizzlies, come into this one 4-1, versus the undefeated River Ridge Knights in a Region 7 6A battle, possibly a de facto region championship. If we get to that point later in the season, we might look back on this one and just say that. Bringing back into the broadcast my good friend, longtime broadcast partner, the golden voice of the broadcast, the Diamond Dave himself, Diamond Dave Garner.
I thought you were going to call me Art for a second.
Nope.
So,
nope. I'm done with Art.
Glad to be here, man. I mean, this is a ninth meeting all time between these two, as you guys talked about. Creekview obviously has dominated the series, but last year it came down to the final play, and this year River Ridge hoping to get up over the top. Should be a good one.
Looking forward to it. Andy Moncada, as we mentioned on the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show, is the new place kicker for the Grizzlies. Haven't seen him yet, but he's a sophomore. was 3 for 3 on extra points and a long field goal of 33 last week. Toe meets leather, and we're underway, and it's a short boot kick to about the 35. It's bounced and caught and fielded, and a group of Grizzlies and a group of Knights meet and converge on the ball, and that's where they'll set up shop around the 36, 37-yard line for the River Ridge offense.
Well, Vaughn talked about in the pregame, a special teams play, and Creekview almost had one on the opening kickoff. Little pooch kick there. It took a bounce, and cardinal rule is if you're the up man, you never let that ball hit the ground because you don't know what it's going to do. Luckily for River Ridge, it took a nice little bounce into one of the hands of the up backs there, and they were able to hold it, and will actually start with pretty good field position.
Right, you are. Leading the team out to the field is Carson Latham, the junior quarterback. Comes in 52 of 85, almost 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. But a name you've heard, I'm sure, Amir Morrison behind him as well with almost 1,100 yards coming into this one. Shotgun formation. Gets a clap. It's a fake pitch. Surveying deep. Going to take a shot. Now he's being pass rushed, and he has to get rid of it. Gets it out to the flats. And a good pass rush out there by number 55, I believe, Sam Minosi.
Yeah, late flag just came flying in, Will, at the tail end of that play, and this may be intentional grounding right here. I don't think that Latham ever got outside the tackle box, and there was not a receiver out in the flat. Of course, Amir Morrison kind of rolled out as a safety valve, but that pass went downfield just a little bit there, and I think this is going to be a loss of down.
It appears that you are right, Dave. So counted as a sack, just not on the score. And they will be pushed back. It'll bring up second down here and long for the River Ridge Knights.
But you saw what happened right there, though, on that opening play. River Ridge comes out. They show a couple of twins looks, and they bring everybody in bunch, and then they fake the handoff to Morrison, who obviously this Creekview defense is going to be keying on here tonight. Little play-action pass. River Ridge loves the play-action play there. They like to get Carson Latham out into space to be able to look downfield and identify a receiver. And, again, it's going to be a tough challenge here tonight because, as we know, Creekview really comes off the edge well. And I would expect maybe a little pre-snap motion for this defensive line here tonight as they cheat another guy in the box. Not a lot of two-deep safety. Already they're coming out with a three-deep look right here with the safety cheating up into a linebacker spot.
About 8-9 guys in the box. Carson Latham gets the snap. It's a handoff to Morrison on the left side of the block. Good block. And he's going to be cut down right about the 21-yard line. And that tackle was made out in the perimeter by Cale Williams, the junior free safety, 6 foot, 190 pounds, comes into this game with 43 tackles.
Well, these safeties are so quick to the ball, and they're very aggressive. They come downhill in a hurry, and that time Cale Williams, the deepest guy on the field, 15 yards back behind the line of scrimmage, hits Morrison for a 1-yard loss on that play as River Ridge tried to stretch it. And, again, this Creekview defense, they're going to be hard to run tonight. They're going to have to really earn every yard.
Here we go. 3rd down and 27. Latham in the backfield by himself. Motions Morrison into the backfield with him. Looks pass rush already on, setting up a little bit of a middle screen, and it's going to be cut down right in the middle. That pass intended for number 2, Andrew Bingham, the junior 5'10", 170-pound wide receiver, and got close to the original. Going to be stopped about the 24-yard line, so still about 4th and 25 here for this punt.
Yeah, just too far to go. Trying to set up a little middle screen right there to Andrew Bingham, who made the grab there. But again, Creekview very disciplined right there. They rushed, but then they backed off, and just way too many blue shirts in the area right there for River Ridge to do anything. And a great opening drive defensively for the Grizzlies.
So here we go. River Ridge lining up in a punt formation. The punter, I believe, is number 24, Scotty Rutherford. That is correct. He also does the kicking duties for them. He's back 15 yards, high snap, but gets it off a good line punt, and it's going to be fair caught right about the 43-yard line by Dawson Curry, and that'll set up the offense for the Creekview Grizzlies, and one of Vaughn's keys to the game was having a short field for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they that defense, and we didn't say as much in the pregame, but what Carson Latham's going to see tonight and the different angles they're blitzing him and where they're bringing guys from. I mean, he hasn't seen it all year, and Creekview's defense is relentless. But even pursuing that screen pass, that middle screen, to still have guys all over it, I'm telling you, they cover some ground.
Brody Rhodes leading his team out onto the field, 57 of 123 passing attempts, almost 700 yards, 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, but 62 carries for 300 yards, and a touchdown on the ground for him. I formation here, 2 wide receivers split out. It's a handoff to the back, Tyler Stevens, the leading back for them. He makes a cut, and he's going to fall forward for a gain of about 4. Bring up 2nd and 6, and a flag comes in out in the perimeter. We'll have to see, probably in the position of a hold out there.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of number 15 tonight. I think Creekview really wants to take it right at this River Ridge defense to see what they're made of. And that time, a little stretch play there. Stevens kind of bounced it outside, went around the edge, and invited contact over there. He's not a guy that's just going to dip out of bounds and make that executive decision. He's going to lower that shoulder and try to make a DB pay for it right there. And you got to think that they're going to line up. We've seen a lot of power eye this year. We've seen full house. I think they're going to try to take it right to the middle of this River Ridge defense until they just don't have success.
Good point. They're marking off the 10 yards here for the holding call. So the Grizzlies already set up behind the chains as well, so a couple of penalties for a couple of teams, and they are back behind the chains. Neither of these offenses thriving behind the chains, as most offenses don't. The Grizzlies will spread out here. 2 wide receivers once again in I formation, same formation as last time. A.J. Vaccaro sent in motion to tight end. From left to right, Rhodes makes a couple of people miss. On the snap count there, excuse me. Made it sound like a run. He gets the play call from the sideline, surveys the field once again. River Ridge in a 4-2-5, it looks like. Turned around, it's a handoff to Stevens right up the middle this time, and he's going to barrel forward for a couple more yards, and he's finally down for a gain of about 5 yards for the Grizzlies here, and that'll bring up a second down, and let's call it 12.
Well, like we talked about, 1st and 19, what do the Grizzlies do? They go right up the middle of Stevens, and I think they have enough faith in the offensive line. DeBrow, of course, up there is the center. Hartley and Thibodeau, the guards, flanked by Dorr and Saladin. And these guys move people. Not an overly big offensive line, but they are quick. They get up underneath your pads, get a great surge there, and just run the football up the middle for 6-7 yards, just a few yards shy of the original line of scrimmage after the penalty.
Odd look here. 3 wide receivers split out, tight end, and Brody Rhodes in the shotgun formation here. It's a boot pass out to the left side, and he's got a man out in the flat. It's caught. It's out to about the 50-yard line, still going, and he's finally forced out of bounds real close to the first down marker. And that was a pass completed by Chase Wright. The 5'11", 185-pound senior comes into this game with 3 receptions and 23 yards.
Yeah, that time they brought Wright near side in motion, then put him back to the left side, and then at the snap, he ran a drag play across the formation as Brody Rhodes bootlegged to his right towards the near sideline towards us, and he had Wright coming across the formation, had a good kind of trying to confuse the River Ridge back end a little bit there, and Wright was just wide open in the flat, turned it upfield, picked up a good gain.
3rd and 1, a few options coming in here. Cole Hasty checks into the game at fullback. Chase Wright out here. 2 wide receivers split out. A.J. Vaccaro moving from the right side of the formation to the left. Rhodes surveys, gets under center, snap. It's back to Stevens, and he's got a first down a little bit more. Still rumbling forward and pushed down finally at about the 42-yard line. Move those chains, enough for a first down for the Creekview Grizzlies, and they got something rolling.
Well, Tyler Stevens had 2 touchdown runs last week. Now, granted, they were both short runs, but he's the workhorse in this offense. And, again, we talked about them running between the tackles tonight. I think that's what, of course, Coach Trevor Williams challenged his offensive line this week, said, hey, guys, we can push these guys off the ball a little bit. River Ridge traditionally lines up at a 3-4, so they've only got, 3 down linemen a lot of times. Sometimes they'll cheat a backer up here. They feel like they've got the advantage at the line of scrimmage, which is where this game will be won.
Curry and Summers, the 2 wide receivers split out. Vaccaro once again from right to left. I formation with Stevens the lone back. He's got it, makes a couple people miss once again, and he's going to barrel forward for another gain. Let's call it a gain of 4 as they're out across to the 37-yard line. 2nd and 6 for the Grizzlies, doing a good job of getting that chunk yardage on first down.
Yeah, so far the linebackers just have not been able to get up into the holes. We talk about the Bruton boys, of course, Liam and Aiden, and they're amongst the leaders. A good back end we talked about with Martineau, and, of course, Rutherford, the safety, the strong safety coming up. But so far this River Ridge team has not been able, outside of the penalty on the first play from scrimmage, has not been able to come up with a positive play yet.
I formation once again, 2 wide receivers, Vaccaro the tight end. River Ridge, 4 down linemen. It's a handoff, it's a fake. He's rolling out to the left-hand side, got a man out in the flat, and it's completed out there. What a catch by number 17, Chase Wright. So that's his 2nd catch of the game, and that's enough for a first down. Move those chains, and the Grizzlies are rolling once again.
Yeah, beautiful comeback route right up against the near sideline. Again, Rhodes rolling to his right, little play-action fake there. Chase Wright just running down and turned around, down around the 25, came back a yard, and Rhodes put it right on the money for a Creekview first down.
Even fooled me with the play action. 8 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 0-0. Thank you for listening to the WLJA Game of the Week. Once again, the Creekview Grizzlies playing the River Ridge Knights. A battle of unbeatens in the region. Creekview does have 1 loss, but that loss to Cherokee. Rhodes hands it off. He's going to keep it, actually. A fake to Stevens. He's going to bounce to the outside. He's going to fall forward for a gain of about 3 or 4. Bring up 2nd and 6 once again for the Grizzlies. Doing a really good job there on first down, getting that yardage on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you can see early, and we talk about Creekview's physical defense, but they want to be physical on offense too. And, the worst thing for a D, no matter how good you are like River Ridge's is just to keep getting pounded by that offensive line. And Stevens, man, he's a load. He's that Cade Radham Jr., and he's running downhill right now.
He's 6'1", 215 pounds. That's a lot of boy to bring down. 2 wide receivers. Make it 3 now. Tight end options out to the slot position. Rhodes in the pistol with Tyler Stevens right behind him. Vaccaro sent in motion off the tight end selection there. And it looks like the Grizzlies will have to burn a timeout on the formation there. And we'll take one with them. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no-obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, an affiliate entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
I was watching Cherokee.
Welcome back to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. Our score here is 0-0 with 7 minutes left. Vaughn, give me a little bit of coaching here at the end of the break there. I do appreciate it, Vaughn. Or should I call you Art? Hard to know. Hard to know.
The resemblance is striking.
It is.
It is hard to tell those guys apart.
It is striking. We are both striking men.
They are. When they walk in, young men for sure. Now, Dave, on the other hand, geez.
That's a whole nother story.
Dave, how old are you now? 67?
Close.
Look like it. You don't look a day over 70, partner. Handoff here to Tyler Stevens off the left-hand side. Almost broke it free. Real close to the first down marker. It'll bring up 3rd and 1. Good outside tackle there by number 33, Hunter Coleman, the junior.
We got a score update over from Milton. Milton up early. 9:51 to go in the first quarter. Milton up 7-0 on Etowah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that play before by Creekview, they had to call a timeout. One too many motions. They're trying to confuse this River Ridge defense, but throw a lot of looks at him early, even though they pretty much just ran Tyler Stevens. 3rd down and 1 right here, though. You got to suspect that they'll just do the same thing right here.
Power formation out of the shotgun. Kind of a wishbone look is probably the best way to describe this. Turn around, hand off to Stevens. Bounce it off the right-hand side, not the left. Still rolling. Makes a couple of people miss. Barrels them over. Real close to the 10-yard line. Mark at the 11. Move those chains. The Grizzlies pounding the River Ridge Knights here in the red zone.
Yeah, they've taken a lot of time off the clock here, too. 6:27 here in the opening quarter. Still no score, but this is the opening drive of the game for Creekview. This is the first time they've touched the football in a drive. They really didn't start that deep in their own territory. They started around the 35 or 40, had the penalty that backed them up, but they were able to overcome that. Now they're inside the red zone.
Wishbone formation again. Tyler Stevens makes a couple of people miss, and he's finally brought down at about the he dropped it, fumbled. Yeah. Let's see who's got it. There's a skirmish there.
I think Creekview got back on it. By the, well, I don't know.
River Ridge says they got it, and
they do.
They do. It's River Ridge ball. Creekview fumbles at the 6-yard line, and the Knights bend but don't break, and they're going to take back over on their own 6-yard line. Wow. What a deflating play for the Grizzlies, and what an uplifting play for this River Ridge defense.
Yeah, I mean, that was a Sequoia-type drive, too, just taking so much off and wearing that defense out and letting your defense rest. Again, red zone woes for Creekview. But they've got great momentum just based on that first drive still.
That was a whole bunch of Tyler Stevens, but he ended up coughing up the ball there on the first turnover of the game. 6 minutes left on the clock here, 0-0. Carson Latham, shotgun formation, 2 wide receivers split out, a tight end, Riley Canes. Amir Morrison in the backfield. Turn around, he fumbles, a snap in the end zone, and it pops free, and a River Ridge player got it right at the 1-yard line. Wow, what a play. Did you see that?
One of the linemen actually grabbed that ball, and I'm not sure if it actually hit the ground or if they tried to throw it out of there.
The Creekview sideline is saying they should be a safety. There's a flag in the end zone, and they're going to talk about it here because from our vantage point, all we see was the snap was fumbled, and the next thing we know, you see the ball come flying out. One of the River Ridge offensive linemen fell on it.
Yeah.
So I think one of the River Ridge players might have kicked it in the end zone just trying to get it out of there before Creekview was able to recover it.
Possibly.
Well, this Etowah Valley official crew, they got their discussion continues here. Greg Norton, the head man here tonight, he's got the whole crew down there at the 4-yard line and trying to figure it out. Creekview wants the safety. River Ridge offense still on the field, and if this were to be, for some reason, it'd be the second time in as many trips here that we've seen that. We saw safety, of course, in the Cherokee game when Cherokee came here, and Grizzlies trying to take a lead defensively.
Both fan bases impatient here, wondering what the conversation's about. Trevor Williams out to about the 20-yard line, signaling for the safety. Mike Collins equally on the field with him, discussing it with his bench.
Yeah, they're having to go through the rule book here on this one a little bit.
Picking up the flag. And Coach Williams not happy with this call. Coach Collins coming over to his respective side judge to get an explanation here, but it looks like it'll be only about a loss of 1, so 2nd down and 11. And mark the ball at the 4-yard line instead of the 5 where they started.
Well, I think they're going to say it was just a fumble, and it was recovered by one of the linemen. It was fumbled forward, though, so they did back the ball back to the basically about the spot of the fumble, which was pretty close to the end zone over there, but they still gave them the, I guess, the 4 or the 5.
Here are the Grizzly Fanatics below us with their cowbell stomping as well. 2 wide receivers split out, tight end. Sends a man in motion, and a pre-snap flag there. And that'll be a false start on the River Ridge Knights. So back them up another 2 yards, half the distance to the goal. And it'll bring up 2nd and 13 from the 2-yard line.
Just not an area of the field you want to be in, especially after your first possession and you back yourself up. And now you're trying to move it on this Creekview defense from inside your 3-yard line.
5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock here. Once again, 0-0. Still waiting for something. Creekview a long drive to start it after a 3-and-out. And 2nd and 13. Turn around. It's a handoff to Morrison. He's going to make a few people miss, but he's only going to gain about 2 yards. So 3rd and 11 here. And the Knights are already back right close to the end zone. And they're going to have to make something positive out of this if they hope to keep their punter from punting out of his own end zone.
Well, and all but about one game this year, Amir Morrison has broke off a 70-yard run to start the ball game. That hadn't been the case here tonight. 2nd drive right here. Now they're backed up 3rd and 11. And the question is, do you hand the ball off to your most reliable weapon, or do you try to throw it up here? You got to think he's got to get the ball out of his hand quick, but you're throwing from your own end zone. You don't want to risk a mistake.
Here we go. It's a misdirection play off to the right-hand side, and only a gain of about 1 yard. So 4th and 10, 4th and 9 here. And that didn't do the punter much favors. Once again, the punter, Scotty Rutherford.
Yeah, so far, Morrison's been bottled up. I mean, negative 1 yard on that opening drive as we saw there. And then here, of course, just behind the chains. River Ridge has not been able to pick up a first down so far in this opening quarter, but they do get the turnover. It's still a 0-0 ball game. 4:20 to play here, but you gotta feel like this is kind of what we expected so far. A low-scoring ball game so far, a no-scoring ball game. It'll be interesting though to see what kind of field position Creekview gets here.
Scotty Rutherford standing back. Creekview doesn't go after the punt, trying to set up a return here, and it's fielded by Dawson Curry. Makes a few people miss, cuts it out to the 40, makes a couple people miss, and 30 down to the 33-yard line. And wow. So Dawson Curry sets the Grizzlies up with a short field once again. Let's see if they can make something happen this time.
An extremely short field. I mean, they'll start this drive at the River Ridge 34-yard line, and anytime you do that against an offense, and this Creekview offense is struggling. I mean, they're only putting up a little over 16 points a ball game, which we know what they've done. You talked about, of course, Cade Radham and what this offense has done over the years. Meanwhile, River Ridge averaging over 36 points a ball game. So you got to feel like their offense coming into the game certainly a little bit more electrifying and dynamic in what they do. But if you give Creekview a short field every time, you're really putting your defense up against the wall. A defense that's also played equally well in River Ridge.
Right, you are. Look for Brian Bradley, the defensive end, comes into this one with 46 tackles and 3 sacks for the Knights, really kind of the defensive leader for them. River Ridge makes a shift on the line. Creekview turns around, fakes the handoff, looking for a play deep, got a man down the seam, and he finds him. It's A.J. Vaccaro, and he drops it right at the 10-yard line, right in the breadbasket, and had him, and falls incomplete to the turf. The Knights catch another break, 2nd and 10.
Well, A.J. Vaccaro doesn't drop a lot of passes like that. He is really utilized more listed as a running back, but he's more of an H-back, and they like to throw the football to him. Now, he doesn't have a lot of grabs, but usually when he has them, he makes good things happen. A couple of touchdown catches this year, 11 grabs, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, though, but he usually makes big plays and just dropped a big one there that would have given the Grizzlies a 1st and goal.
Pistol formation here, 3 wide receivers split out, 1 tight end. Handoff to Stevens right up the middle, big hole, and he barrels forward for a gain of about 6. Set up 3rd and 4, so 3rd manageable for the Grizzlies. See what they draw up here. Looked like a good stop out there by Hunter Coleman once again. Second time we've called his name for the night. The junior defensive end, 6'3", 200 pounds. He stands on the other side of Brian Bradley. Helping them fill in is Brandon Dye, the sophomore, 5'8", 180-pound defensive tackle. Comes in with 2 sacks in the game. And Dylan Prasad, also a linebacker. He helps fill in the other role there, 5'8", 180 pounds. The junior, 25 tackles and 1 tackle for loss as him as well. Those are the 4 guys down on the line as Rhodes turns around and hands it off to Stevens off the left-hand side. And he's going to be cut down short of the first down marker. And he fumbled it again. Let's see if they mark him down. River Ridge says they've got it.
Now they're going to say he was down, though, yeah. That knee went down right before that ball popped out. But, you know, here's the thing. I mean, when you coach defense, and we know how good both these defenses are, but the one thing you coach is, you know, first guy makes contact, second guy's trying to rip that ball loose. And that's exactly what River Ridge has done on these last two drives is once they've got Tyler Stevens stood up, there's somebody in there coming there trying to rip that ball out. And we kind of saw the body language of Tyler Stevens in the sideline whenever he fumbled that one on that last drive there. So, again, got to have a short memory there and nearly had that one ripped away, though. He's got to secure that football.
Sets up 4th and 2. Watch the attempt to draw off sides. ADO, Creekview masters at that with all the pre-snap movement. Rhodes has 3 wide receivers to choose from, a fullback and the halfback. Tyler Stevens. Stevens motions out as a wide receiver. And it's a quick slant by Curry, and he falls down, and he makes the catch, and it's a first down right at the 21-yard line. Move those chains, and the Grizzlies get a break on 4th and 2.
Yeah, pre-snap motion that time. They split Stevens out of the backfield like they were going to run a screen to him, and that kind of got everybody looking that way. And then they bring, of course, Curry back on a quick slant there, and Rhodes just lobs it overhead, gets it on the 4th down conversion there, picked up about 5 yards.
1st and 10. The Grizzlies set up at about the 21-yard line, nearly in the red zone. Kind of a nightmare word for them. Vaccaro split out as the wideman over here to the near side of the field. 2 minutes left in the first period, no score. Stevens once again split it out as a back, and Rhodes cut down immediately right at the gain. So a gain of nothing there, bring up 2nd and 10.
You know, I think you got to be very careful here. I mean, that was an ugly hit. It kind of came in there at the hip and everything, and you don't want to leave your quarterback too exposed. I know Brody can beat you with his legs, and that's what, you know, Creekview has done a lot. I mean, he obviously is the second leading rusher behind Tyler Stevens on the team here, but again, you don't want to run a lot of those QB draws and get him hurt there in the middle, because let me tell you, River Ridge came crashing down on that last play, laid a big lick on him.
Rhodes stands at 6'1", 180 pounds. A few offers. Army, Citadel calling. Tyler Stevens off to the left-hand side. Makes a couple people miss. Barrels over a few of the linebackers, and he rumbles forward for a gain of about 3 or 4. A group of Knights over there to make the tackle, but it looked like Liam Burton, along with his brother Aiden Burton, came over to help the two seniors, combining for a total of 73 tackles, 1 sack for Liam, and 2 tackles for loss for Aiden. Also joined in the linebacking corps is Hunter DeRizo, the senior, 6 foot, 215 pounds, comes in with 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and an interception. And the back half of this is Micah Martino, the junior, 5'9", 155 pound. Cornerback has an interception in this season already. Scotty Rutherford also does the kicking ability. He's the free safety, senior, 5'10", 175 pounds. Connor Gross, the other safety, as well as Chase Usher, the other cornerback over there. Wishbone formation. Turnaround handoff to Stevens off the left-hand side. Barrels forward, going to be real close to a first down. Looks like he's going to be about a half of a football length short. Let's call it 4th and inches.
Yeah, they've had a couple 4th down conversions here on this drive, and I'm sure they'll go for it right here. 4th and a yard. I think it's a no-brainer. And let's see if they decide to snap the ball here as this time runs down in the opening quarter. They don't have to. They may just wait till the second quarter.
You know, we saw the Brody Rhodes on first down. We saw the Brody Rhodes draw. I think I'm giving it to the 215-pounder if I'm going to run up the middle like that.
Break this huddle really quickly. 5 seconds left. 4, 3. And they do snap it. Turnaround handoff to Stevens, and he's, oh boy, it's going to be real close. And he's right about the 11-yard line. Spotter saying a first down as the clock expires here in the first quarter. Still no signal. And still no signal. And still no signal. And it'll be the end of the first quarter. It's a first down, so when we come back, the Grizzlies will be set up with real close to a 1st and goal. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Hot mic.
Welcome back to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. Our score here is 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. We're set up for the second one here. I am your play-by-play man, Will Cooper, joined alongside my good friend Diamond Dave Garner to the left of me, the golden voice of the broadcast. Also to my far left, touchdown Von Brown, not to be confused with Arthur Mosley, who runs the Turk Ferguson Report. He's all the way down in Roswell for that game. Sounds like that Roswell's up early in that one, 7-0. Also to the right side of me, Ronnie on the spot, Ronnie Cooper doing stats for us over here as well, doing a great job. Not much to talk about so far in this one, but Vaughn, you got some score updates for us.
Yeah, we've got 14-0 over at Milton. Not a lot of details there, but Cherokee did muff a punt. Shortly thereafter, Robbie Roper scampers in from 18 yards out to make that 7-0 over at Raymana Stadium in Roswell.
All right. Dawson County up 7-0 over the Bobcats last we checked over there. So rooting for those guys up there. Once again, Pickens County on a 2-week delay due to some COVID concerns. They're out. Dawson County now 14-0 over there. Alpharetta Woodstock still scoreless. So here we go. Brody Rhodes, I formation, 2 wide receivers split out. A lot of guys in the box for the Knights, cheating a few people up again. Turn around, it's a handoff to Stevens, and he's real close to the end zone, and he just falls short. A good tackle by Chase Usher up there to bring him down, and it'll bring up a second and just a couple of yards. They do have a yard to get to if they can't get into the end zone here, but it's pretty much the goal line.
Well, sometimes your best defense is your offense, and Creekview's been able to stay on the field. River Ridge has not. 2 drives for River Ridge. They have not gotten a first down yet. Meanwhile, Creekview has basically driven, the field. Now, granted, this was a short drive that started on the 34, so, a little over 30 yards into the drive right here, but they're really eating a lot of time off that clock, and more importantly, keeping Amir Morrison on the sideline.
Here we go, wishbone formation. Turn around, handoff to Stevens, and he walks in for an end zone touchdown, Creekview. You can light up the board. Tyler Stevens adds another touchdown to his total. That'll give him 3 on the year. And the Creekview Grizzlies are up early, 6-0, pinning the extra point on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard.
And we saw the offensive line there on display. Again, just another good push, really getting off the ball well here in the first half against this River Ridge defensive front. Just have not been able to throw a whole lot of looks at him here early on in this ball game. And Tyler Stevens has ran free, take away that fumble on the other end of the first quarter. And this first half so far has been dominated on the ground by the Grizzlies.
Moncada kick is up, and it's good. And just like that, the Creekview Grizzlies are up 7-0. We'll keep the action right here for you.
It's similar. We've got 11-17 left in the second quarter, and it looks like River Ridge is already a little bit tired of hitting Tyler Stevens, and that's similar to what Adams Jr. does over at Cherokee, and it's, they keep getting stronger and stronger as the game goes on, and they just wear defenses down. You said, a 215-pound running back, you eventually get tired of hitting that kid.
6'1", 215 pounds. If you get tired of hitting him, don't worry. A.J. Vaccaro right behind him, 6'1", 185 pounds. And if you get tired of tackling him, don't worry. Brody Rhodes, 6'1", 180 pounds. So I think their tape measure was stuck on 6'1" when they give the official height and weight for these guys.
Well, Creekview's offense, we know has struggled a little bit, but they really kind of found their rhythm last week against Sequoia, 24-0. And it looks like that momentum is carried right over into this week. And we talked about Tyler Stevens coming in. He's now well over 400 yards rushing on the year. So he's flirting with another 1,000-yard year, 4th touchdown rush on the year. And they like to throw to him out of the backfield, but they haven't had to do that. We felt like coming into the game, they would just try to run it down River Ridge throats. They felt like they liked the matchup. So far, it's paid off. River Ridge is going to be up to those guys to make some adjustments up front.
Andy Moncada adjusting the ball on the tee here, lined up at the 40-yard line. Once again, the sophomore had his first game of the season last week, did a good job. 3 of 3 on extra points and a field goal for 33 yards. Did a good job on the extra point there. Much better than Dave Garner earlier today. And toe meets leather, and the River Ridge Knights are back. And it's a little squib kick out in the middle. A couple people miss, and he's finally cut down. Good open field tackle. Wow, it looked like that was Grant Anderson out there making the tackle on number 3.
Well, they're trying to put some hits on Riley Canes. I kind of felt like coming into the game tonight for River Ridge that Canes would maybe be that guy that could have a big game because the way that this Creekview defense likes to play man on the edge. We haven't seen Jackson Head tonight for River Ridge here in this offense, but we haven't really seen the offense much at all here in the first half anyway. So, the middle of the field has the opportunity to be opened up right here for Riley Canes, but they're wanting to put some hits on them in special teams.
Morrison, the lone back with 3 wide receivers. Makes a couple of people miss, but he's done a good job. Cut down by Grant Anderson once again, only a gain of about a yard. Amir Morrison did a good job squeaking out of the backfield there. Could have been cut down for a loss of about 2, but Amir Morrison does a good job. And the sure tackler, Grant Anderson, coming into this one with 53 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks in the county, which is good enough for the first.
Yeah, he's been a beast all year long, and need another big game out of him here tonight. He's watching number 5 all the way.
And it's a pitch out to Amir on the left-hand side, and he's going to be wrapped up real close, and he's going to lose about a yard there.
Anderson once again.
Yeah, Grant Anderson all over the place.
Be interesting to see if Amir shows any frustration because, like you said, he's used to breaking that 70-yard, 60-yarder early in the game. But, man, Creekview's defense, they're bringing multiple folks to the ball tonight.
3rd and 9. 4 wide receivers split out wide. Amir Morrison, Carson Latham. And it's going to be a false start on Camden Cochran. The center flicks with his hand, and it'll bring it up to about a 3rd and 14 here for the Knights, digging themselves into a deeper hole. That last drive by the Grizzlies, by the way, 10 plays, 35 yards, 8 runs for 29 yards, only 1 pass for 6 yards, and a 4-minute and 39 time of possession. Thank you to Ronnie Cooper for those stats on the spot. We call him Ronnie on the spot.
For a reason.
For a reason. It's because he's there. I don't even have to ask. Turn around. There's the stats. Boom. Big 3rd down here for the Knights. Got to get something rolling here soon. Amir Morrison split out, and he's surveying deep. Has plenty of time, and he's finally going to be flushed out by Minozzi, and Latham's taking off towards the sideline. Does a good job to get a few yards back, and there's going to be a late hit flag coming in at the end of that one. Oh, boy, the Creekview fans not going to be happy about that one, but it looks like it'll be enough for a 1st down, not only because of the personal foul automatic, but it would have been enough for the yardage as well.
Well, the thing is, I think it wouldn't have been a penalty, but they hung on. You know, the contact was right up against the sideline, but then they didn't let go of the jersey and kind of drug him down to the ground out of bounds. I think that's where the penalty comes. The run would have got him close. I think he still would have been short, but this would be the first down of the game for River Ridge, and, you know, Carson Latham was running for his life on the far side. They chased him out of the pocket. All his receivers were near side, so he was looking downfield, but he had no one to throw to, so he had no choice but to run it. And the penalty is going to bail them out, and River Ridge will have their first down of this first half via that personal foul.
So move those chains. Thank you. The Zebras out there doing that for the River Ridge Knights for the first time. 3 wide receivers split out wide. Amir Morrison, Riley Caines, the tight end. Creekview showing a blitz. Latham barks out orders. Checks the sideline. Going to get a new play here. Trevor Williams down here doing a little funky dance, trying to get his defense lined up. And they're going to switch their formation now. 5 guys in the down line, 2 wide receivers. And it's a handoff to Morrison, and he only gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Yeah, not a lot of room there at all. So far, this Creekview defense has done a nice job at containing Morrison. We talked about his numbers coming in, over 113 touches, 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, and just 1 fumble coming into the game. And, of course, we saw that one, earlier against Etowah, but a long of 76. He's done that about every game. And they like to throw him out of the backfield. They don't do it much, but when they do, they have success. 56 yards as well, but so far he's been bottled up.
Right you are. Jonah Durham playing defensive back. And they throw out to his way, and it's a catch by Riley Caines, and he's going to be brought down real close to the 1st down, but there's a penalty marker that comes in the backside. It's close to a hold, but Sam Minozzi comes up holding his hands like, I didn't do anything. We'll have to see what the call is.
Will Cooper, update from Ray Manisfield over in Roswell. 69-yard touchdown pass, A.J. Swan to Adarius Harshaw. 2:49 left in the first quarter, 7-7 at Roswell.
There goes that boy. We'll see what the penalty marker is after the play. Personal foul against Creekview. Oh, boy. That's going to drive them crazy. That's 30 free yards for the Knights here, and they really had them pinned back, and just like that, they're moving out across midfield. And when the Knights were searching for something to go their way, they've got a couple of things going here real quick.
Well, we talked about Riley Caines and the opportunity for him to have a big gain. At that time, Carson Latham was able to create some space there and was able to put a good ball on the money. They kind of slipped Caines, the tight end, out in the flat and had a guy close to him, but just a good ball there. And then Caines, a big body, his ability to get up the field is kind of like a George Kittle Jr. kind of player, and a big first down there, tackle on the penalty yardage, and now all of a sudden the Knights have flipped the field.
3 wide receivers. Amir Morrison back with Latham. It's a keeper to Amir, and he's drugged down by a group of Grizzlies. Isaac Hubert in there, Cole Hasty in there, a whole bunch of guys. Peyton Parker as well. Peyton Parker, the 5'10", 180-pound safety, linebacker, depending on where you play him, 29 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. Cole Hasty, the defensive tackle, 5'11", 195 pounds, 16 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. This team coming in with 25 sacks, so you knew you had to get the ball out quickly. Coming into this one. 4 wide receivers split out. Latham checks the offensive line. Grizzlies giving about 5 yards to each of the receivers. Amir Morrison split out to the left-hand side. Latham surveys, gets it out of his hand quick. He's got a man out in the flat, and it's caught. Oh, he dropped it right at the end. My goodness, the one-on-one coverage by Cale Williams. A lot of pushing and shoving. Can't see a number out there. Was that Riley Caines?
Riley Caines, yeah. Caines, the big tight end there, ran a little post-corner route, and they try to put the ball over the shoulder. Their little hand jockeying going on, but Caines got the position in the back corner there, just couldn't quite glove it, and that had been a big play for him. We talked about that. To me, Canes tonight is the matchup problem, if there is one, for this Creekview defense, simply because of the aggressiveness and what they're doing right now and trying to slow down Morrison. But I think that's what they're challenging this River Ridge offense to do, is like, we're going to take away Morrison. You're going to have to find another way to beat us.
Latham, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs. And he dumps it out to Morrison on a design screen, and he makes the guy miss out across the 20, and he's going to be cut down well short of the first down, but setting up maybe a field goal opportunity here. 4th down and about 5. Let's call it 6, right at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I think offense probably, well, I don't know. It looks like they might be sending the kicking team now.
So 8 minutes and 10 seconds left. Clock still rolling. Creekview up 7-0 here on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard.
I think if Morrison breaks one more tackle there, maybe they go for it. They pick up another 3-4 yards. But 4th and 6, it's a little bit different there. So now you're having to settle for a 37-yarder from the near hash.
Scotty Rutherford once again the kicker. His long of 36. The hold is good by Latham, and he got plenty of leg on it, and it is right down the middle and good. Wow, that would have been good from about 45, and just like that, the Knights answer. It's 3-7 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. With 7 minutes and 40 seconds left to play, we'll keep the action right here for you. So River Ridge needed something to work with, and they got it.
Yeah, I mean, Creekview's defense had just been so dominant in those first couple possessions by River Ridge, and obviously River Ridge had some horrible field position in both. But, the penalties, that last possession by River Ridge, Creekview just kind of opened it up and let them cross midfield based on penalties alone. So it'll be interesting to see if that's just a little momentum boost, but it still looks like to me River Ridge is having trouble finding comfort in their play calling.
100%. One thing that kind of occurred to me for discussion is that Amir Morrison looked like he was picking up a little bit of steam there towards the end, making a couple people miss, maybe getting a little bit more comfortable with the situation. We mentioned coming into this one, River Ridge really isn't used to these big games. They're not used to being in the middle of the hunt, but it looks like that Creekview comes out in this one with the experience. We expect to be here. We expect these games. This is nothing new to us. Maybe River Ridge building a little bit, getting up used to the hype here. Obviously, high school football has a lot of emotions. Coach I interviewed one time said, high school football is hard. If my quarterback, his girlfriend breaks up with him at Thursday before the game, we're not going to win. So lots of emotions that go in. Keep in mind these kids are 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds just coming out here playing a game they love, and we love covering it for you. Once again, you're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week. That last drive, 9 plays, 53 yards, 5 rushes for 7, 2 of 3 passing, 16 yards in the air, but 30 penalty yards really drove that drive, 3 minutes and 32 seconds time of possession. Rutherford sets it on the tee. Here the fans rally behind each of their team. Toe meets leather, and it's a deep kick, but high. It'll finally land at about the 10-yard line, and it's going to roll all the way back to the 1-yard line. Finally fielded, and he's brought down right at the 10-yard line. Oh, boy, that was number 31 out there, Nick Stewart. And the River Ridge Knights pin the Grizzlies back here, and the Knights doing a good job. Creekview will have to drive a full 90 yards. They want to get some points here.
Yeah, River Ridge, with a little momentum right now. They get the 3 points on the 37-yarder there from Rutherford. From the near hash, and now all of a sudden, a ball takes a funny bounce in the back end on the kickoff there, and you've got the Grizzlies backed up if you're this Knights defense, and so you got to pin your ears back right here and make a stop. This Creekview offense has pretty much driven the football. They only have 7 points to show for it, but they've moved the football up and down the field. Let's see if the Knights can carry some of this momentum over defensively here and maybe make a stop and get them in a 2nd and 3rd and long.
Right you are. Rhodes looks like he'll go back to the shotgun here. Sends a couple people in motion, 2 wide receivers, a tight end. That's A.J. Vaccaro. Puts his hand down. He'll be an extra blocker. It's a fake to Stevens, and Rhodes keeps it off the right-hand side, and he's finally drugged down. And it looks like he fumbled the ball again, but he'll be marked. It's River Ridge ball. Oh, my goodness. Creekview fumbles it for the 2nd time, and the Knights have it at the 16-yard line. Holy cow.
Yeah, that was really the 3rd fumble, really. The other one was, of course, called down. The knee was down on the 2nd one. They ruled Stevens on his on the 2nd series there. This time, Brody Rhodes, just a little bootleg keep, a little design play back into the middle of the field there. And as he was on his way down, one of the Knights was able to get a hand in there and rip that ball away.
Dave, it looks like they're going to overturn it and rule him down.
Wow, they are. I saw the ball come out. I could not see Brody's knees, but, yeah, definitely a close one.
Thank you, Ronnie, on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, though, if you're Creekview, you got to do a better better job of securing the football right here. They're not doing a great job of securing the bag.
No.
And, at this point right here, you obviously know, River Ridge is going to try to steal a possession or two away from this Creekview offense. They know they need to do that, especially with the way they've struggled.
Robbie Roper doing big things over at Roswell. Fill you in a second.
A.J. Vaccaro in motion here. Rhodes back to the I formation. Turnaround fakes the handoff. Bootleg out to the right-hand side, being chased by a group of Knights, and he's going to be cut down. Wow, that's going to be real close to giving a sack. That was number 55 out there on the pursuit, Dylan Prasad. 25 tackles, the 5'8", 180-pound junior.
Over at Roswell, Robbie Roper, after a 64-yard pass to Marquise Willis, touchdown pass, makes it 14-7 Roswell. Still in the first quarter, we may have a shootout over there.
No kidding. Two good quarterbacks coming into that one. Robbie Roper, familiar to some Woodstock fans, of course. He played backup and came into a few games as well. 6 minutes, 30 seconds left here. 7-3 in favor of the Grizzlies, who have the ball. Hand off to Stevens, and he's cut down right at the line, but it's going to be enough for a first down. A good tackle by number 21 out there. And it looks like not a starter for the Knights. Let's see who we got here. Number 21 for the Knights. That is Endur. Looks like he's a senior. Plays linebacker for these guys. Maybe filling in a little bit of a role against this run-heavy team. Not going to have to split out as much.
We've got a 17-0 score over at Milton, so that Etowah defense doing okay, almost to the half over there, 17-0 Milton.
Big task over there with Milton, as we mentioned in the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta pregame show. We'll fill you in on all the scores on the Foundation Financial halftime show coming up in about 6 minutes. Brody Rhodes turns around, takes the handoff, and gives it up to the backup, Kate Sousa, and he's drugged down in the backfield, but there's going to be a flag come in here late. It might be a face mask with the way that he was drugged down, but we'll have to wait for the call.
Yeah, that time River Ridge got upfield. Knights got good penetration right there. They've kind of switched from a 3-4 to a 4-3 look. Extra down lineman right there coming off the edge and really filling the gaps, trying to make the adjustment there because of the way Tyler Stevens has started this football game. So I think this River Ridge team knows they've got to get upfield. And, similar situation is the flip side of the ball. I think they'd like to try to make both these offenses have to beat them through the air because, obviously if you're not able to stop the run, it's going to be a long night. They know they cannot let Creekview have these long, sustained drives throughout the game, so I would expect River Ridge just to pin the ears back and go after them.
Holding call, and the Grizzlies will back them up once again. Coach Williams got a lot to talk about going into halftime here. Of course, we still got 6 minutes to go before we get there. But, man, the Grizzlies have looked sloppy here. You have to feel like they've kind of dominated the game up until this point. But as things have gone and advanced here, the Knights have done a good job staying clean, but the Grizzlies looking real sloppy.
Yeah, you called it. Just watching this game and not the scoreboard, Creekview has dominated, but we've still got a 7-3 score.
Once again, about 6 minutes to go. It'll be 1st and 22. Ball on the 9-yard line. Rhodes has two wide receivers, one tight end. Make it two tight ends. Turn around, and it's a handoff, and he's only going to fall forward for a gain of about 1. Did a good job by Brian Bradley out there on the corner. We mentioned him. Junior, 6'3", 210 pounds. That would be 47 tackles for him and 3 sacks coming into this one. Does a good job anchoring the offensive line opposite of Hunter Coleman, who we called a couple of times there.
A little John going on back there in the back end in the secondary between some of the receivers and DBs there, as you would expect. A little inter-county matchup here, 9th meeting all time. And
the classic rivalry, am I right?
Exactly. There you go. River Ridge trying to make it a rivalry, trying to get a win on the board in the series. And so far, a close ball game like we thought.
Cohen Liner, the extra cornerback in for this formation as they split 4 wide receivers out. A rare look for the Grizzlies. Turn around, it's a quick slant, and he hits Curry in the open field, but a good open field tackle by Chase Usher. And only a gain of about 5 yards. Did a good job coming up and making the tackle. It'll be close. We'll call it 3rd and 15.
Yeah, we talk about yards after contact, and a good open field tackle. That time just a short route. But, Creekview, again, they've got guys like Dawson Curry and guys that can break tackles. And you like their chances one-on-one to make a guy miss. If that tackle's not made right there, it's a much bigger play. But a good open field tackle over there on the edge by the back end of this defense. You talked about, of course, Usher and Liner. Martineau, Rutherford obviously does a great job. Gross, the free safety as well, coming up and making the tackle there on that play to force this 3rd and long.
Really good secondary for the River Ridge Knights. Lots of experience. All 3 of the corners are seniors, and the safeties as well. So a lot of experience on that River Ridge secondary here. Brody Rhodes will survey the field with 3 wide receivers and a running back. Gets the snap, and it's a design draw all the way, and he's going to be cut down for nothing. Hunter Coleman on the tackle doing a good job, and that'll bring up a punting situation for the Grizzlies as the clock winds down with about 4 minutes left here in the first half.
I kind of feel like, to a certain extent, Creekview has gotten away a little bit from what they had success on the first 2 drives, and that's running Tyler Stevens kind of up the middle now. Obviously, River Ridge has made some adjustments there, but I think they've maybe gotten a little too cute. They're trying to do too much maybe with Brody as far as some of these quarterback draws and things that just aren't working. I'd like to see these guys maybe go back to trying to pound it between the tackles like they were doing and having success early on.
100%. I think that's the big thing for Creekview is do what you know what to do. Don't try and get too cute. But, of course, you can't expect the same thing to work the entire time as well. Dawson Curry does the punting duties for the Grizzlies. First time we've called him on the punt. A great punt and a great catch. Makes a couple people miss, and he's out across the 45-yard line. That's number 18 for the Knights, Micah Martineau. Once again, the cornerback, junior, 5'9", 155 pounds, comes into the game defensively with an interception. But a great catch right there. The ball was spinning and really taking a good Creekview bounce. Did a good job to cut it off and advance it up the field. And the Knights have a short field with about 3 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the first half on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update.
Let's see what the play calling here, the difference in play calling with a little bit better field position. This 2 times in a row, better field position. They're not backed up. Let's see if they get a little bit more creative with the play calling here with River Ridge.
Amir Morrison will line up behind, once again, it looks like Martineau is out there at wide receiver. Now he moves back behind Latham. 2 wide receivers out to the far side of the field, and it's a handoff to Amir all the way. Makes a couple people miss, and he's going to break it here. First down and more, and he's finally wrapped up by a group of Grizzlies. The first one to make contact out there was number 5 for the Grizzlies, and that is Cole Sackman, the sophomore defensive back. So we're seeing a few different players here for the Grizzlies, not their typical setup. I got cut off last time by the great play, but there was a guy that you might have heard of, the last name Durham, who was out there playing defensive back. So Creekview fans can be excited about that. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But a pre-snap penalty here will give me plenty of opportunity to do just that. Yeah, so Jonah Durham was out there playing defensive back, number 11, a true freshman. But with a last name like Durham, you have to feel like that carries a little bit of weight around here. If anybody is familiar with the 2018-2019 Grizzlies, of course, Durham had his first touchdown reception with the Mercer Bears down there in South Georgia, so congratulations to him. See a lot of Grizzlies at the next level from that 2018-2019 group. John Williams, part of that 2019 group as well, over there at Clemson, doing a good job over there. Of course, the number 1 team in the country. Lots of guys to mention over there and around the county as well, and we expect a lot of these guys on the field now to be playing at the next level once again. Latham turns around, hands the ball off to Morrison, and he's cut down right at the line. Good job by Grant Anderson to trip him up there.
Well, the play before that, Morrison finally had some room to run for the first time tonight. A little bit of daylight for number 5, his longest run of the day. It was only about 11 yards. I say only because, we're used to seeing him break off those big, long runs there. But, of course, now they're kind of behind the chains a little bit.
Vaughn, you got a score update?
Yeah, we've got 14-0 over at Woodstock. Alpharetta just had a pick 6 to put Alpharetta. The Raiders are up 14-0 over the Wolverines.
Amir Morrison slotted out. It's unabated to the quarterback is the best way to put it. That ball is ruled incomplete, and it looked like Samanozzi was out there. And it definitely questionable why that was not a fumble. But it hit the lineman in the hand, so that should be an illegal forward pass. And you hear the
illegal pass, touching there. And unless the defender came in there and got a piece of it as it left his hand and got deflected, but regardless, they're going to call it a third down play right here. But, boy, that would have been a big sack. That would have been about a 14-yard loss if they had brought him down.
2 minutes left here in the first half. Latham, plenty of time, only bringing 3 surveys. And he finds a man out the middle, but it's dropped, and there's a flag coming in on the near side of the field. Be illegal hands to the face on the Knights. Most likely decline the penalty there. And, of course, this is thanks to Ronnie on the spot. Doing a good job out there. But that was a pass intended for Riley Canes right out there in the middle and just flat out dropped it.
The shootout continues over at Roswell. It looks like the A.J. Swan, Robbie Roper show over there. A.J. to Shockley for a 25-yard touchdown, 14-14. Still 9:39 left in the second quarter. So it sounds like it is. They're both throwing the ball a ton over at Roswell.
An eligible man downfield for the Knights.
And Milton will take a 24-0 lead into the half versus Etowah.
Coach Williams checking something here. Maybe if the penalty is declinable, you'd rather take the play there instead of 4th and 15.
Well, Coach Collins, you can see Coach Collins is upset over there. And if you notice, when Amir came out of the backfield on that screen, they went ahead and tackled him. They literally took him to the ground. I think it's similar to what they were doing with Jaden Mitchell a couple weeks ago or last week, just going ahead and hitting him every play. That looked a little bit against the rules over there on that far sideline.
Patrick O'Shea down there on the sideline giving us a little bit of a heads up. Looks like Creekview's defense is extremely physical tonight. So, Snacks, we appreciate you down there, partner. Quasi-sideline reporter for us. That's the thing about WLJA is we recruit everybody in. So it brings up a fourth down anyway with the ineligible man downfield. So it'll bring on the punting unit. Once again, Scotty Rutherford, the punter for the River Ridge Knights. He'll be punting from about his own 45-yard line, 15 yards behind the line. And it doesn't look like Creekview has a deep man back, and they don't. Only bring one man, and a pretty good pooch kick here. They're going to clear out 20. It rolls down to about still rolling, right about the 10-yard line. Great kick there by Scotty Rutherford. A really good punt with less than 2 minutes left. Here, we'll keep the action right here for you, but the Grizzlies will once again have to go 90 yards if they want to make something happen.
Yeah, the Grizzlies didn't put anybody back that time. They didn't trust the punt. But, you talked about it, Vaughn. You said, obviously Creekview had a short field the time before, a 34-yard, drive. River Ridge with a similar opportunity, but they're not able to make good on it. They go in and score right here. They're up 3 going into a halftime more than likely. But River Ridge really just with the one drive in the ball game that resulted in the 3 points. So obviously at halftime they have to make some adjustments, open things up. They've had Riley Keynes open tonight. He had the drop there in the end zone on the one play that would have given them what would have been probably the go-ahead score now. And then, of course, the other one on the play before still would have been short of the fourth down. So they've had opportunities in the first half to kind of pick up some chunks of yardage. But so far it's been this Creekview defense that's been able to stop number 5, Morrison.
Let's see how aggressive they are in the play calling here. 3 wide receivers. Rhodes going to pass on first down. Rolls out, and he's only going to gain about 2 there. Runs out of bounds, 1:40 left on the clock. Chased out by a group of Knights out there on the outside. Brian Bradley on the pursuit, as well as Aiden Burton and Liam Burton.
Yeah, you talked about Dylan Persad, the linebacker there. He was kind of shadowing Brody Rhodes on that play. He was kind of sitting out there in the flat waiting on that play there a little bit and just trying to spy on Rhodes because they know what he can do with his legs. But, again, minute 38 left. They're going to need to take big chunks of yardage right here with 2 timeouts left here to make something happen.
I'd like to apologize to Aiden and Liam. It's not Burton, it's Bruton. My apologies there. Trips to the near side. One running back. Rhodes turns around, fakes the handoff, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield by Brian Bradley. So give him his 4th sack of the season. Wow. Just got in there, and the Knights will burn a timeout here. Being a little aggressive here. Coach Mike Collins comes running down the sideline with 1:30 left, and it'll be 3rd and long.
Yeah, good timeout right there. You know why? You have an opportunity here to get the football back and still have one more timeout as well to stop it after this play. You want to set up another short field. Obviously you're down 7-3. Offense hadn't had a lot going on here, so you want to give your offense another opportunity to put one in there before halftime.
Yeah, in those first couple series, Creekview really had that River Ridge defense on their heels. They were kind of backing them up. Obviously, they were pounding Tyler Stevens, but, and they went away from that, and you said it a minute ago, Dave. And now, obviously, in this situation, it doesn't bode well to run Tyler Stevens up the middle if you're trying to go somewhere, but now they're in a position where they're going to give River Ridge a short field, see if they can find some comfort in their play calling because it's not going to be their typical night facing this Creekview defense.
Well, as we mentioned, coming into this game, the River Ridge offense came in averaging an astonishing 36 points per game, but Creekview comes in averaging only an astonishing 5.4 points per game. They've only allowed 2 offensive touchdowns all year.
They will humble you very quickly, and, I put some notes down here. It looks like they have 12 or 13 guys on the field. They're just that disciplined in where they're at, and their tackling is just perfect.
They always say that good defense beats good offense, Somebody should tell Georgia that. 5 wide receivers split out wide. Brody Rhodes in the backfield. Surveys, has a little bit of time. He's out over the middle, and it's intercepted over the middle. Wow, the Knights setting up a return to the 15-10. Finally drug out of bounds. That's number 29, Aiden Bruton, with the interception. Wow, the Knights stealing momentum away. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. They are in the red zone. The River Ridge Knights, a big answer when they needed it.
Well, we saw last week what turnovers mean in a football game. As much as Etowah struggled, they got 6 against a very good Roswell team that's given Cherokee everything tonight, and they only beat Etowah by a touchdown last week. Turnovers are the great equalizer in a football game. And so far at Creekview, as we talked about, guys, the Grizzlies have kind of dominated this game from a statistical standpoint. But the 2 turnovers, and almost 3 and 4 turnovers with the fumbles, have River Ridge set up now with an opportunity to take the lead going into the locker room.
Here we go. Creekview fans rallying their defense. Only 20 yards to go. Pay dirt. Amir Morrison cuts it, makes a couple people miss, and he falls forward. A gain of about 2, 3, let's call it 4, 2nd and 6. 1:10 running on the clock here. The Knights don't have to rush. They have a timeout in their back pocket, and they don't have far to go. Let's see how they try and play this here. Latham will stay on the field, get the play call from the sideline. 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Amir Morrison in the backfield. Sends Canes in motion, turned around, a handoff to Morrison again. He's drugged down from behind by Sam Minozzi. Did a good job there. Only a gain of about 2. 50 seconds now on the clock. Once again, the score here, 3-7 in favor of the Grizzlies, but the Knights are knocking on the door. Player checks out here. Latham goes over to the sideline, getting the play call. 39 seconds rolling here. 3rd and 4. Ball at the 6. Got 2 yards from the first down to pay dirt. Amir Morrison calling out who he's blocking. Latham checks over to the sideline. 28 seconds now, and the Knights will burn their timeout here with 28 seconds left to go in the first half.
Boy, way too much time there, though, and I'm not sure exactly. They just couldn't get the right call in there, and they just saw some up there they didn't like. They had a little bit of pre-snap motion there, looked over at the sideline. A lot of confusion, let about 20 seconds roll off. Now, again, plenty of time left here, but you hate to have to use that timeout because now all of a sudden if you don't get the first down, if you don't throw it in the end zone right here and let's say you're short, you got to make up your mind in a hurry whether you want to go for it on 4th down or whether you want to run the kick team onto the field and try to get a field goal off. And you're not going to have a whole lot of time to do that.
Yeah, in a 7-3 game, you got to come away with points. Obviously, they want the touchdown. They want the 6 or 7. But regardless, they've got to come away with points here because Creekview, after those first couple possessions, they've really, really struggled to move the ball.
I agree 100%. Now, of course, halftime coming up. You'll have time for adjustments. The Knights taking a little bit of extra time here. And they finally break the huddle with Coach Mike Collins out there. Turned up the sound a little bit loud there on the board as you heard that on the field mic. Apologies there. Some AC/DC rocking here. 2 wide receivers, 1 running back. That's Morrison. Carson Latham. Riley Canes in motion right to the left side. Turn around. It's a handoff to Morrison all the way. Makes a couple people miss, and he's going to be drugged down about a yard short of the first down marker. 4th down, 20 seconds. Let's see what they decide to do. They can't spike it here. It's 4th down and 2. 10 seconds here. Latham making the play call. They're going to go for it on 4th down. Canes in motion. They got to get a play in here. And he's going over to talk to the official, but do they have another timeout?
Yeah, I think they had one more. Yeah, they had one more timeout. They ran it down to 1 second, though. A lot of miscommunication here, and this last offensive series, it's kind of been a little ugly as far as the clock management is concerned here, and it's kind of like, we talked about it, you're running the football there on 3rd and, 4 or 5, but if you don't make it, you got to have something ready right behind that, and it's almost as if when he got tackled, 28 seconds when they snapped that ball, and they barely got the timeout called in time.
Mike Collins took his time calling the timeout. Obviously, field goal situation here. So Carson Latham, the holder. Once again, Scotty Rutherford, the kicker. He's 19 of 21 on extra point attempts, 4 of 4 on the season with field goals. Had about a 30-yard field goal earlier in this one.
Well, I tell you, if I'm River Ridge, I take a delay right here. I don't like that angle from the far hash that close.
Back it up a little bit. And he's comfortable from a distance as well. Yeah, I don't like that angle at all.
On the far hash from us on the left side. Snap is back. Latham the hold, and the kick is up, and it's true. It's good. Wow. So the Knights will only take a 1-point deficit into the locker room. It's 6-7. And we're going to take it to our halftime show. The Foundation Financial Halftime Show coming up on WLJA 101.1 FM. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we'll introduce Vaughn back to the broadcast to break down the scores and analysis from this first half.
At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we believe that your insurance protection and wealth management plan go hand in hand. We start by shopping your insurance with highly rated companies to find you the best combination of price and protection. With that plan in place, we can then work with you to develop a tailored financial plan. Whether you need to save money on insurance or you need a full financial plan, call us at 678-880-9571 or come by 670 East Main Street in Canton for a no-obligation consultation today. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, an unaffiliated entity, member FNIRA and SIPC.
In times of uncertainty, it's nice to know that there's still some things that are certain. Hi, I'm Dave Garner here, your local Woodman Life representative. I want to make sure that your family is protected with needs-based life insurance through Woodman Life. Life insurance has many benefits. It's not just something that's there when you pass. It's mortgage protection, family savings, debt relief, replacing lost income, and overall peace of mind. Some companies sell it because they have to. We sell it because it's what we do. Call for a free quote today or visit me online, and let's make certain that you're protected from today's uncertainty.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria speaking for Woodstock Furniture Outlet and Woodstock Mattress Stores.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Now we know during post-COVID everybody's raising their prices, not us. And at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet we have the best 0% interest-free financing available. Come and see us at the furniture store in Akron, Hiram, Rome, and come and see our mattress-only stores in Canton, Kennesaw, and Douglasville, and get the best savings.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Welcome back to. I am your host, Will Cooper, joined alongside Von Brown. Touchdown, Von Brown.
Touchdown. I'm touchdown tonight.
First down.
If I'm absent, I'm fourth down.
Well, you got to show up to be part of the.
That's right. I'm always listening.
Well, we do appreciate that for sure. We are here in the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. Our score here is 7-6 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. About 20 minutes here. And we got a couple of score updates around the county. We're getting those all written down. I'll start out with the ones that I know for sure. Dawson County up 28-0 over Gilmer at the half. Like we said, Dawson County came in a pretty tough customer. We kind of figured that Gilmer might struggle with that one, but we'll see. Roswell and Cherokee over there, as you mentioned, in a shootout. They're still playing at half and not at halftime yet. Last we checked, Alpharetta was up 21-6 over Woodstock. So a lot of games over there. Milton and Etowah at half. They were at half pretty early, though. It was 24-0 over there last time we checked. So we got a lot to talk about here. Let's start out with the Etowah-Milton. They were the first ones to go to half. Milton up 24-0. We kind of figured that Milton might have their way tonight. Now, obviously, there's another half of football to be played, but what do you think Etowah is going to do here in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to try to pound Clivert Mini and just keep it low. I mean, Milton had a couple. Had a couple takeaways. Etowah's really struggling to move the ball over there. 24-0 at the half there. But again, Kemper's talking to those kids at halftime, asking them to compete for him, try to run the ball, get that clock moving. But it's hard to slow down Milton because they have so many weapons on offense.
100%. Cherokee Roswell, as we mentioned over there, kind of a shootout going on over there. It's the Robbie Roper / A.J. Swan show right now. Tell us a little bit about that game. I know you and Art have been going back and forth.
It's literally a shootout over there. It's 21-14, but there's still 5:44 left in the first half. That's 21-14 Roswell. Robbie Roper having himself a night. Every time he throws a touchdown, A.J. so far has been answering. They're going to need A.J. to lead them down here or Keith Adams Jr. with 5:44 left in the first half to tie that thing up at 21-all if they can do that. So 21-14 Roswell, 5 minutes left in the first half.
All right. Last we checked over there at Alpharetta, it was 21-6.
Now it is 24-6. Alpharetta added a field goal going into the half. They are at the half there. Woodstock really having trouble moving the ball against a very, very solid Alpharetta. Alpharetta also had the pick six that helped him to get to that 24-point mark.
And, of course, if you weren't here with us on the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Cherokee pregame show, we'll tell you now on the Foundation Financial halftime show, Cambridge and Sequoia will not be played until Monday.
The shootout continues. Darius Harshaw, folks. We saw him do it. I actually got to see it because I was home watching on YouTube and Steve Majors listening to you guys. He takes a kickoff to the house, but I didn't see that far down. A block in the back does negate that and brings that back. So Adarius still getting loose over there at Roswell. He just needs to continue doing that in the second half.
We've got to teach Art how to send score updates. You don't add the what happened. You just say who scored, and we talk about it tomorrow. For people that don't know, and this is a good thing about us that I feel like, is we have a lot of fun. You, Vaughn, me, Will, Dave, Art, Snacks, Patrick O'Shea. We actually have a group chat with all the Cherokee County guys. We like to mix it up. We talk a lot about all the different stuff that we do. We make fun of Dave. and then Dave makes fun of me, and then I get my feelings hurt, and everybody makes me feel better, so I appreciate all you guys. But, man, I tell you, we have a lot of fun with this stuff. We love the Cherokee County teams, and, obviously you guys, I always do this. I give you 3 shout-outs on each of my broadcasts, so this is your second one, so you'll get one more in the second half of the postgame show. But Friday night's at the Taverns, so go check that out with Art Mosley and obviously Von Brown here. Those guys, Cedarwood Tavern, the Turd Ferguson Report, combining for a super mega show. I'll plug our podcast while we're at it. Why not, right? Sports Blitz on Mondays at 4:15. We still do that. Yeah, that's right. Go check it out on the website, WLJA.
I did last week. I did.
Appreciate
it.
It
was great. Wonderful.
We are not a Cherokee County football exclusive. We talk about a lot of things. We like to hurt ourselves. We talk about the Falcons a good bit. We like the Atlanta Braves as well, so we talk about their failures. The Atlanta Hawks and their irrelevancy. We like to talk about that. And we also talk about Cherokee County football towards the end. I would say we're like a 75% Cherokee County show, most likely. Something like that. We also mentioned Gilmer and Pickens, so if we have any fans up north tuning in, we appreciate that as well. But let's talk about this game right here for a minute. This game has been back and forth, but not really in the way you'd expect. Creekview has really dominated this whole thing. Creekview's totals are 28 plays, 120 yards, 23 of it rushing. 23 rushes, 72 yards. They are 4 of 4 passing now, 48 yards with 7 first downs. But the penalties for them, 4 penalties, 24 yards. So a little bit more discipline from River Ridge with a 13-minute and 44 time of possession than River Ridge on the other side of that coin. 28 plays as well, so an exact even number over there. 56 total yards for the Knights, though. 14 rushes for 27 yards, 3 completions on 4 attempts for 29 yards. So both of these teams not really throwing the ball much, but having a high completion percentage. And they've had 2 first downs in total on 5 penalties and 34 yards. And Amir Morrison right now, it looks like, only has 12 attempts and 24 yards. So
I've been tracking that over here. Just I had unofficially 12 for 24, 25 yards, and with that. And if I told you that before the game that Amir Morrison was going to have 24 yards at the half, would you have said that River Ridge will only be down 1? And they haven't really had much success through the air. What they have had is some timely turnovers, some good field position late, and some timely penalties. In a turnover gave them 3, the pick. And then they had the penalties that gave them 3 there earlier in the first half. So at the end of the day, River Ridge did not look like the River Ridge we saw over when they played Etowah, but they're down 1 point to a very, very, very strong Creekview team.
And now it's left up to the coaching staffs. As we mentioned, both these coaches in their second year with their respective programs, but a little bit of difference on the experience. Now, Mike Collins has been around the block a time or two, and he's got a lot of talent and experience on his coaching staff. And then Coach Williams is only in his second year as a head coach, obviously coming over as a defensive coordinator from Forsyth County. Now, obviously, he coaches a very good defensive team, but you have to wonder the halftime adjustments. Now, like we mentioned coming into the game as well, Creekview's been here, done that. They have this experience. The atmosphere is that way. The Grizzly Den is the way it is for a reason. The other side of that coin is River Ridge is very young. Maybe they feel a little bit uncomfortable in this situation. Really the first time they've been challenged in this year so far, maybe aside from that Woodstock game. So they're going to have to dig deep and find something here in the second half. And it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments they make coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I think, take away halftime, I think River Ridge really made some in that first half with just deciding they were not going to let Tyler Stevens sit there and pound it for 5 yards and 8 yards and 10 yards. They took that away. And obviously that's a strategy move on their part that you'll see more of in the second half going, we're not going to let Tyler Stevens just run it down, sustain, and run clock while they drive down. They're going to make Brody beat them with his arm. He can do that. But Brody, he's tried to take off a couple times. He's scrambled a couple times. But that defense, again, we talk about Creekview's defense being disciplined, but that River Ridge defense as well. They're good. They're good tacklers. They tackle in space. They get more multiple hats to the ball. So I think you got a Creekview team in there that's probably trying to draw some things up of how they can move this football if it's not going to be Tyler Stevens like it was early in the first half.
Well, it came down to this one. The Creekview offense averaging 16 points per game, scoring 5.9 points less than what teams average allowing. And River Ridge comes into this one at 17.4 points per game, and they keep teams 4 points below their average points per game allowed. So kind of a difference there, but you kind of expected that number to be around 16, 17. And a lot of people picked this game in the teens. Most people did. One guy didn't, but that's okay. And then you look on the offensive side for the Knights. They come in averaging an astonishing 36 points per game, scoring 13 points more than what teams average allowing. And the other side of that is the astonishing play of the Creekview Grizzlies, this 5.4 points allowed per game, keeping teams 16 points below their average of what they score. And like we said, only 2 offensive touchdowns all year, just a ridiculous stat as we're moving into the 6th game of the season here for both of these teams. So you have to feel like it's going to be a game of fruition, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think if a innocent bystander popped in to here off of Owen Store Road and watched the first half of that game, they would probably go, hey, River Ridge's offense, not very good, but River Ridge also averages 36 points a game. They put up 52, they put up 40. So, you're talking about an offense on that side that really hasn't met their match all year. But when you watch this game as a neutral bystander, that is just how good the Creekview defense is, because they've made River Ridge offense look very pedestrian. Obviously, the key and your first task is to limit Amir Morrison. They did. That was one of the keys of the game. You can't give him a 70-yard touchdown. They gave him, I think, one run of 11 yards. He averages 9.8, 9.7 a carry, right. And he had one carry in the first half that went for even close to that. Most were 1 and 2 yards. So, they're happy with their defense. They're not happy with the penalties. And for Creekview, I think they're going to have to come out the second half. They're going to have to be turnover-free. They cannot help. One of my keys to the game was Creekview to get that short field, allow some easy scores for the offense. The opposite of that happened. River Ridge got some short fields, and Creekview just cannot do that in the second half.
100%. We're going to take our second break here on the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. When we come back, we'll talk about a name that we haven't called on the River Ridge offense, and we'll be talking about the Creekview defense just a little bit more. You're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week, the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. 2 minutes, and we're back.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no-obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, unaffiliated entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
31-6 at Woodstock. You heard that coming out of the break here on the Foundation Financial Halftime Show. Von Brown. I tell you, this guy's got a hot mic 100% of the time, and it's not really fair. We don't throw up the breaks to him. He doesn't really know. We just give the 30-second updates. So
that's why I'm always careful, I mean, hot mics are always there. They're always there. But it is 31-6 over at Woodstock. Alpharetta's taking control of that game and having their way defensively and offensively.
So if you've been paying attention to the broadcast, which hopefully you have, we're here at halftime, you might as well start paying attention now. Jackson Head, the sophomore, that is really the leading receiver in all of the county, 15 receptions, 266 yards, and 3 touchdowns, Carson Latham's favorite target. He's not here today. And the reason for that is, Vaughn, with a little bit of deductive reasoning and your ability to find information out of the woodworks, which we have no idea how you have all these connections, but you do, and we appreciate that. That's why we put you in there. It's another reason why you're much better than Art, besides looking better and also having a little bit more excitement in your voice. But, we could go on and on, but we won't. Poor Art over there at Roswell. Also, we should mention Art's over there because he was invited by Robbie Roper, so there might be a little bit of Roswell favoritism going on over there.
I guess so. I mean, he took the Robbie Roper invite and took off, and obviously Robbie wanted him there for a reason. Maybe it's a confidence builder for him, but Robbie's having quite a night at Ray Manis.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that whole situation. You need to find that out on the podcast. That's a little bit troubling.
And the information finds its way to me somehow. I don't have enough time in the day to be out searching for that. Somehow the behind-the-scenes information just finds its way into my life. And I've been in the county for a while now, and I'm getting older, so I do have a lot of contacts. And, but what I will say, and Shaw's done this a couple times, and Lee Cannon today, if you tell me something that you don't want on air or on Twitter or on the podcast, I'm good with that too. So it goes both ways.
Tell them whatever you want to tell them. Score update over at Cherokee. Seems like Cherokee evened things up with a pass from Swan to Bosher. Is that what you got?
I do. Swan to Bacher, 5-yard touchdown pass, 41 seconds left in the half. And I've gotten multiple texts of folks watching that game on GPB talking about Adarius Harshaw and just what he looks like on TV. We've seen him in person many, many times. And, after that Carver game, it was one of the big keys that Shaw went in the next morning and said, he's got to touch the ball far, far more than he did against Carver, even though they won that game handily. And Cherokee has found more and more ways to get the ball in his hand, and he's phenomenal when he gets in open space.
Part of that power trio at junior position, as we mentioned, A.J. Swan, Keith Adams Jr., and Adarius Harshaw. If you get tired of us calling their names, get over it because they're coming back next year as well. So expect that Cherokee train to keep on rolling, but tied 21-21 over there. But let's get into this Jackson Head news. Turns out that he was did not test positive, but due to Trace quarantining, he is not in the stadium today. We got that news a little bit before kickoff. So as we mentioned, Vaughn doing a great job keeping us informed coming into this one. So it's really been the Andrew Bingham trade, although they've only attempted 4 passes. Both teams have only attempted 4 passes. But coming into this one, you kind of had to feel like that with Jackson Head might be the difference maker, and that might be a reason why they're not going to the air as much.
Yeah, I found that out today and knew it was one of their receivers that wasn't going to be here, and it was a top receiver. And, you kind of deduce that down to Jackson Head or Riley Canes or Andrew Bingham. And, I wanted to see, he's a sophomore, but he's a big physical kid. I think he gives them a confidence. We said on the podcast a couple weeks ago, he's a program – you got a mirror, but Jackson Head's a program-changing type player, probably the size of a tight end, but athletic enough. He's rated higher, actually, in the state in basketball than he is in football, but he's phenomenal. And, you just feel bad for the kid. You feel bad for the team that they don't have one of their even though he's younger, one of their key leaders there. Now, Carson Latham doesn't have a ton of time back there. I don't think he's going to be sitting back there just dropping dimes because Creekview's defense does not let you do that. But I still wanted to see Jackson Head as a sophomore perform in this game against a defense like Creekview's.
Jackson Head coming in at 6'2", 205 pounds for the River Ridge Knights. So you had to feel like, obviously he's a big target out here. And he certainly is, so he is dearly missed by this team. But Andrew Bingham taking over the role over there. Riley Canes, as Dave mentioned, was probably going to be the number 1 target, and he has been tonight. So the senior 6'1", 210 pounds, matching up well against the safety, Cale Williams, the 6', 190-pound junior. They had a little bit of contact in the end zone, but Cale Williams ended up winning that debate over there. So a really good play all around here. Once again, as we mentioned, Owen Mello returning for this game, 6'2", 165-pound senior, doing a good job covering the side over there. Nick Stewart opposite of him. And this linebacking core has just done what it does. Sam Minosi's been all over the place. Isaac Hubert making a few big tackles. Grant Anderson doing what he does, leading the team in sacks, tackles, all that good stuff. Cole Hasty with 16 tackles playing defensive tackle, doing a good job over there as well. So a lot of experience over there. And for the other side of this coin, the River Ridge Knights, let's give the defense some credit for keeping the Grizzlies to 1 offensive touchdown. That's Hunter Coleman, the defensive end. We've called his name the most. Brandon Dye, the defensive tackle, doing a good job keeping everything, bouncing it to the outside. Brian Bradley had a sack. That's his 4th sack of the season, 47th tackle for him. Aiden and Liam Bruton said that right this time. They're both seniors doing a good job. 42 tackles, 2 tackles for loss for Aiden, 31 tackles and 1 sack for Liam. And Hunter DeRizo, the other linebacker, really the kind of the leader of the group, the senior, 6', 215-pound. linebacker, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and an interception for him. And then the safeties also are really the quarterbacks of that secondary. Scotty Rutherford, who also does the kicking and punting duties. He's a senior, 5'10", 175 pounds with 50 tackles. And Connor Gross, the senior, 5'11", 155-pound senior, with 43 tackles. Chase Usher and Micah Martineau on the outside of them as well. And also for the Knights, because of the different formations you'll see, we'll talk about Cohen Liner at the defensive back position as well. Lots of good stuff coming from the River Ridge Knights, though.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I think they're going to look for a little bit of cohesion on offense and trying to get a little bit more versatile. But at the end of the day, you still got number 5 back there that I think he carried the ball 12 times in the first half. If you continue to give him the ball, he's going to break something at some point. And that could, that one break, that 150-yarder or 60-yarder, and we know how doable it is, changes this game dramatically because, again, Creekview, after the first couple drives, they've really stalled out. They haven't had field position, but I would look for that Creekview defense to do something special early, maybe a turnover, maybe a sack, something special early to give them that momentum back in the second half because they don't have it right now.
If I remember correctly, River Ridge will receive the second half kick.
No, it'll be
the other way around.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep.
As soon as you realized it, I realized it as well. So Creekview's going to have a chance to try.
I had the advantage of looking at Ronnie.
Oh, come on. That's not fair, man. I'm sitting here with my back
I'll cheat with the best of them.
I can tell.
I will cheat with. Thank you.
Officials returning here with some snacks right now. Snacks, speaking of which, down on the sideline doing a great job for the Tribune. This is going to wrap up our Foundation Financial halftime show. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we'll welcome Diamond Dave Garner back in, and we'll bring you the second half of the Creekview Grizzlies versus the River Ridge Knights in the Region 7 battle for 6A. You're listening to WLJA 101.1 FM.
Are you paying too much for your car or home insurance? At Foundation Financial Insurance and Wealth Management, we represent dozens of highly rated insurance companies. We can help you develop the right protection plan for your family and then search to find you the best combination of price and protection. Call us today at 678-880-9571 or come by and see us at 670 East Main Street in Canton for a free, no-obligation quote on your home, auto, business, or life insurance. Securities and advisory services offered through Packer Land Brokerage Services Incorporated, unaffiliated entity, member FINRA and SIPC.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on EnjoyCherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
Welcome to the second half of WLJA Cherokee County football. We've got the Creekview Grizzlies and the River Ridge Knights at 7-6. Thank you for being with us on the Foundation Financial halftime show. We will wrap things up with the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show coming up at the conclusion of this game to give you final score updates. Vaughn Brown will return for that one. He paused to go get stacks for Dave because poor Dave. Poor Dave.
No, he didn't give me any. I told him I didn't want anything. I'm good.
You definitely need something.
No, I'm totally good, man.
All right.
You've eaten as much as I have today, so I don't even want to hear it.
It's true.
Don't even want to hear it.
I just look a little bit better. Dave Garner, welcome back into the broadcast partner. Thank you for helping me with this one, man. It's been a good one so far. You're setting your fantasy lineup, so I'll roll on here for just a second. We got 30 seconds till toe meets leather here. Once again, we're here.
A lot of big news going on, though.
Yeah, Antonio Brown
yeah.
Being signed by the Tampa Bay Bucks. So something to keep your eye on for the NFL fans. Maybe some fantasy advice. I can go ahead and tell you to do that. Tua Tagovailoa being named as the starter over at Miami. So some Georgia fans cringing at that news. So the Dodgers up 3-0 over the Tampa Bay Rays over there. Tulsa up 21-6 over USF. Wisconsin up 14-0 over Illinois. Got some college football
Big
going
Ten
on
football,
as well.
yeah. Starting back.
Bunch of nerds. Finally coming around here. Here we go. Dawson Curry, the lone man, to return this kick. Scotty Rutherford, once again, the kicker for the River Ridge Knights. It's 20 minutes set on the clock. Just kidding. It'll be 12. There's no 20-minute quarters. 6-7 in favor of the hometown Creekview Grizzlies. Once again here at the Grizzly Den. Toe meets leather, and we're underway. Rutherford kicks it to about the 30-yard line, takes a bounce, bounces over the head of the Creekview player, but he finally retreats and catches it about the 10. That's Tyler Stevens. And he's cut down right about the 22-yard line, where the Grizzlies will set up shop for their first offensive possession of the second half.
Well, the second half, looking at it, I mean, obviously in the first half, both offenses had short fields to work with, but yet 13 combined points in the first half. It's kind of been the story for Creekview this year as we talk about. They've only averaged a little over 16 points a ball game. Defensively, we know how lights out they are, but very impressed with what Creekview did in the first half against the River Ridge offense, as we know that's averaging over 35. So, again, more of that. I'm sure Coach Collins stressed in the locker room, hey, guys, we got to loosen up those guys up front a little bit and give Morrison some room to run. But right now it's their defense.
Wishbone formation, no wide receiver split out wide. Handoff to Tyler Stevens right up the middle, and he gains maybe 2. A little bit of hand fighting on the outside, but nothing comes of it. 2nd and 8 for the Grizzlies here.
And that's where Creekview had so much success in the first half, just running the ball between the tackles with 15 and really pounding that ball in there. Granted, we talked about the Knights making some adjustments there. We talked about, DeRiso was certainly one of those guys, Hunter DeRiso, that we love watching week in and week out, and they're going to have some guys on that side of the ball here in the second half to really step up and make some big plays. The one thing they did, they turned them over twice. Turnovers were the big equalizers in the first half, and again, look for them to try to rip that ball out of there on this drive.
Stevens checks out. Kate Sousa checks in. Stevens being attended to by the training staff. It's a handoff to Sousa right up the middle, and he's gathered by a bunch of River Ridge Knights and finally drugged down. A good tackle there and rally to the football. A gain of 1, maybe, and it'll bring up 3rd and 7.
Big charge there led by Scotty Rutherford, the strong safety who came up there along with Cohen Liner, the senior DB, and those two put a big hit on Stevens. And so this drive right here defensively for River Ridge already looking better than we saw in the first half on the first couple of drives there.
The Grizzlies here looking over to the sideline, trying to get the play call. River Ridge answering here pretty well for the first drive. Once again, Creekview struggled offensively in the season, especially in the red zone particularly. Did a good job last game. 24 points. Kate Sousa goes to try and check off, but Rhodes is going to bark some orders to him. He's going to line up at wide receiver instead. So 2 wide receivers. Let's call it 3, 1 in the slot. Looks like that's Hayden Thompson in the slot. Turn around, roll out to the near side. Fires over the middle, and that's going to be a flag. There's a flag on the backside here, but it most likely will be a pass interference on Dawson Curry as well. It looked like the defensive back got there a little early, but it's against Creekview.
Well, yeah, Scotty Rutherford made a great break on the ball and played the ball. So, I mean, he broke right in front of it, got a hand on it, but the holding is going to be on Creekview back end. Came from the referee there, Greg Norton, and they're going to decline the penalty, of course, make it 4th down.
They get 4th and 7 here, so the Grizzlies will be set up in a punting situation. Once again, the ball at their own 25-yard line. Dawson Curry handles the punting duties for the Creekview Grizzlies, number 18, and also number 18 for the River Ridge Knights, Micah Martineau, the punt returner for them. So athletes all over the place. Number 18 is a good number to have if you're on one of these teams. Snap back. Good snap, good kick. End over end. Micah retreats, catches it over his head, and he makes a couple people miss, and he's out to the 40-yard line, and he'll fall forward about the 45, but a flag comes in on the backside. Have to check the call there. Lots of flags here in this first. It was really in the first half, but starting out here now, we've done 4 total plays and flags on half of them.
Yeah, a lot of laundry here to start this ball game. What a job though by the Knights defense on that opening series against a Creekview offense 3 and out. That's really, as you talked about, the stats at halftime with Vaughn and the numbers certainly going the way of Creekview, but the Grizzlies are the big 3 and out right there. So that's a big momentum builder for River Ridge, a team that is as young as you talked about. You talked about Creekview being that team that has the culture and the experience in the big game, but this is a River Ridge team playing with a lot of excitement and confidence. And so, again, they needed something to try to get that confidence built up here to start this second half. And, certainly a big 3 and out there defensively is what the doctor ordered. And, of course, the key now will be to try to transfer that, same energy and confidence over offensively, and really do need a big play. They want to see, of course, Morrison break the big long run, which he's yet to do.
The smallest in stature, but possibly the biggest playmaker on the field, Amir Morrison, 5'7", 150-pound junior. Fake the handoff to him. It's a slant out towards the middle, and he is blown up out there in the perimeter. Number 2 with the catch, Andrew Bingham, but he is blown up immediately out there. I believe that is Cale Williams, the safety, came up and made the tackle.
Yeah, and Cole Sackman, I think, number 5, too. Sackman was the one that came up and actually hit him and made that play about a yard behind the line of scrimmage there. Sackman coming out of the back end of that defense, and, man, he was there in a hurry.
Latham surveys the field, 4 wide receivers. 9 minutes, 35 seconds, 2nd and 11 here. He'll now creep up to the line, bark some orders. Amir Morrison comes back and joins him in the backfield now. Turn around, it's a handoff to Morrison off the near side. He makes a couple people miss, and he falls forward for a gain of about 2 or 3. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on WLJA.
You're listening to WLJA FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1LJ, Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, and all of North Georgia.
Thank you, Asa. Back on Master Control, Smokestacks doing a good job keeping us anchored over here. Once again, I'm Will Cooper, joined alongside Diamond Dave Garner. Von Brown to the left side of me. We'll call him touchdown for tonight. Ronnie on the spot to the right of me over here. 8 minutes and 55 seconds left to go. 6-7 in favor of the Grizzlies. And Latham is dropped in the backfield. It looks like that is Grant Anderson.
Yeah.
Wow. So give him his 7th sack of the season, and he is once again number 1 in Cherokee County. That's the 27th sack for the Grizzlies on this season.
Well, the Creekview Grizzlies bring so much pressure from all different sides of the field. That time Grant Anderson just ran a little stunt and was able to shoot right up the middle. And Latham just had nowhere to go with that football. I mean, Anderson came shooting through there in just little time to react. The receivers hadn't really even got out into their route yet. So that's a big stop right there. Another big sack for Grant Anderson, and now River Ridge backed up punting the football.
Dawson Curry, the deep man. He'll be joined alongside, it looks like, number 4 out there. I believe that is Hayden Thompson will help him in the back.
A movement up front on the punt, so they'll back him up 5 here as well.
So an extra 5 to the back there. It was already 4th and 18, so they'll back him up to the River Ridge 21. So not good field position here. Going to need a good punt from Scotty Rutherford. Done a good job so far in this one. So a good crowd here on hand. River Ridge may not have gotten the memo about social distancing. Snap is back, and a good kick, end over end. Going to be fair caught by Hayden Thompson, and it's right at the 45-yard line. So a really good punt from Scotty. And the Grizzlies will set up shop with a shorter field than they had pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, both teams coming up with a scratch on their opening offensive series here this third quarter. We're still 7-6. You know, Creekview by a point here, 2 first-half field goals. And, you know, it may take a little bit of time here, but you got to feel, and kind of like Vaughn alluded to, I mean, if you're River Ridge, you got to feel somewhat fortunate that, you know, Amir Morrison, 24 yards rushing, and yet you're down only 1 at halftime. I mean, I think that's kind of a win for River Ridge. Creekview's offense, flip side's going to have to find some big plays to kind of put some distance between themselves and River Ridge. As long as the Knights stay in this game, you know, one play ability to break it puts them right there in it.
Pass, and Rhodes just overshot his intended target. That was Chase Wright out there, 5'11", 185-pound senior, just over his head. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10 with about 7 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here in the third period.
You know, Brody Rhodes went without a touchdown pass, you know, last week against Sequoia in that 24-0 win there. Of course, we know that Tyler Stevens obviously had a couple touchdown runs, and then the halfback pass there from Dawson Curry to Vaccaro was the one play through the air. So I think Brody got something to prove here tonight. He wants to make some big plays. So far he's done it more with his legs, though, than his arm.
100%. He can do both, obviously, as we mentioned. I formation, 3 wide receivers. Turned around, and it's a handoff all the way. It looks like Vaccaro had the carry there, and he does. And he's out across the midfield, so a gain of about 4. They'll move it back just a touch, so the 49-yard line.
Boy, I tell you what, the freshman Reed Anderson had a big kick-out block from that H-back side. He got a pancake out here on the near side edge. Curry a little slow to get up here on this 3rd down, but that was a big block that time.
Him and number 11 for the River Ridge Knights Cohen Liner got mixed up a little bit there. Both of them coming up a little bit shaken, but they're both up to their feet and good here for this 3rd and long for the Creekview Grizzlies. It's 3rd and 6. They're at the 49. The line to gain is the 45 of the River Ridge Knights, so they'll have to get into Knights territory to convert this. I formation, 3 wide receivers, same formation as last time. 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers for the Knights. Creep an extra man in the box. Rhodes surveys, tries to get out of trouble here, and he rolls on the run, and it's just short of his intended target. Looks like it was intended out there for Chase Wright once again. Falls incomplete. It'll bring up a 4th and 6 in a punting situation for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that time Creekview unable to take advantage of the good field position right there, and that time Rhodes was under all kinds of pressure. Nice job by River Ridge to keep him contained. He didn't really allow any running lanes there. They showed pressure off the near side edge, but then backed off of it, anticipating that maybe Stevens or one of those backs was going to slip out of the backfield. So the play wasn't there, and then Rhodes had no choice but to retreat to the other side and try to make a long throw to a receiver coming back to the ball, trying to bail him out, but he just one-hopped it.
Rutherford and Gross will be the safeties back. Looks like they're not really trusting the punt here, but it is a drop punt by Curry and a good one, end over end. And that'll go all the way. Oh, it's going to be down just at the 2-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 1. What a play out there. Number 31 streaking all the way down for the Creekview Grizzlies. That's Nick Stewart, the defensive back. Terrific special teams play. And the Knights will have to go 99 yards here from their own 1-yard line.
Yeah, when your offense is struggling a little bit and you kind of lean on your special teams and your defense, and now you have a chance, Creekview, pin your ears back. Keep that field position because they don't want to lose that when your offense is struggling to move the football.
6 minutes and 38 seconds left here to go. Our score is still 7-6. Both teams having a little trouble finding any offense here. So nothing doing just yet. And the Knights will be set up here literally at their own 1-yard line. And there are whistles coming in. Not sure what about. Mike Collins barking out some orders to the officiating crew. Let's see what's going on here. Whitecap comes in to discuss things with his referee, and now his side judge comes in for a little meeting.
You know, no matter where the ball is on the field, though, you still got number 5 in that all white uniforms for River Ridge. You know, and Creekview has to account for that. You know, they can't necessarily bring a crazy blitz, exotic blitz, because if you miss Amir, you got limited guys to bring him down before he runs 99 yards to the house. So keep an eye on. I know you know this, and I know you keep an eye on number 5 right now.
That's right.
River Ridge wearing the all-white uniforms, as you mentioned, blue caps with the shiny all-new mat, but the River Ridge Knight is in full gloss for them, and the Creekview Grizzlies in the white hats and the white pants, but they have the blue uniform, but the shoulder pads are white, but they have the numbers in green. The nice part about tonight is, we like talking about this, is that both these uniforms are stylish, classic-looking. Nothing too flashy, but the best part is easy to see numbers.
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
read them all from up here.
You got to be able to see the numerals.
And, of course, a big thank you to the hospitality of the Creekview Grizzlies, allowing us to come back, sitting us up here in the press box, making us feel right at home when there's a lot of coverage on this game here. 680 in the house, Fox 5 as well, so lots of action on this one. Carson Latham creeps up to the line here, and it's going to be a quarterback sneak, and it looks like he'll gain quite a few yards from that one. A gain of about, well, not as originally planned, only a gain of about 1. So make it 2nd and 9, but at least they got to push out. Well, now they move it up to the 5. So,
yeah, they put it up to the 4 there. He got about 3 yards, 2-3 yards. And, good call right there. Obviously, on first down, you just want to create some space. The last time they were in this situation, down on the other end of the first half, they nearly fumbled it in the end zone. So, again, just being able to create a little bit of space to take that pressure off.
Pistol formation, handoff to Amir. And he's driven down by Grant Anderson right as soon as he got past not the first down marker, but the original line of scrimmage, a gain of just 1. And it'll be right to the 5-yard line, and it'll bring up a 3rd and long.
We talk about this defense and how dominating it is, and it's not really predicated on size as much as it is speed. And this is just a linebacking crew that flies around and makes plays. And these guys are also quick up front as well. And when you're shooting the gaps, and you're doing the stunts and blitzes and giving the exotic looks that sometimes this defense gives you, it's hard to block, and we're seeing that here again tonight.
Empty backfield, 4 wide receivers, 4 tight end. And there's a flag that comes out immediately out of the back. The pass was a quick turnaround, and it was completed out to the 10-yard line. Looks like that pass was intended for Bingham. But let's see what the flag is coming from the back judge, and it's a pre-snap penalty on the Knights. So that'll back them up from the 5 where they were started at. I believe that'll be a half distance to the goal, so 2.5.
I think they'll probably decline it. They'll take 4th down right here. In a situation, too, where, you saw how quick, well, obviously our listeners didn't see it, but we saw, it's one of those things where he's got to get the ball out of his hands so quick because that pressure's coming that it's hard to set up anything deep down the field. And we've seen, we talked about Jackson Head. We talked about some of these receivers and, the average catch for some of the receivers is 7 yards, And so it's a situation where when you got to get 8-10 yards, for a first down, it's hard to set that up because you just don't have the time if you're an opposing quarterback against this defense to set anything up. And so getting the ball out of the hand as quick as they could, they still didn't get the first down, still didn't get to the marker, and they still had guys all over them.
Scotty Rutherford back. Creekview in a quasi-defense. Still has a few defensive backs out there and a few linebackers. But Dawson Curry joined alongside Hayden Thompson, the 2 deep men. Their heels are on the 45 of their own side of the field. Snap is up. It's high, but good block. And it's off the end of his foot. And that's coming down about the 40-yard line. Never called a fair catch. Dawson Curry, the 30, 25, but there's a flag out there on the far side of the field. We'll have to see what this call is.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Kind of underkicked the coverage right there. Curry kind of sneaked up in there, never signaled a fair catch, kind of along the near sideline. And I'm sure that the River Ridge coverage team just got down there a little too quick and couldn't really identify where the ball was at. And they nearly ran right past them. They forced them out inside the 25, but this one may be coming back.
It looks like it from the march of the Grizzlies. Let's see. Waiting for the call here. Lots of meetings here. We tend to have these kind of games for some reason with the officiating crew. They obviously want to get the calls right, so can't blame them there, but it's going to be a spot of the foul penalty, which makes you feel like a block in the back.
Well, it's one of those things, too. It's unfortunate for Creekview because it's so far away from the ball. I mean, the catch was made over here on the near sideline. Flag comes in from the opposite sideline. It was something that happened way far away that really didn't influence the play. So it's unfortunate for the Grizzlies because that negates a return. They'd have been inside the 25-yard line to start this drive, almost guaranteed some points, but instead they're back out closer to midfield.
5 minutes left to go. The score here is 7-6, still in favor of the Grizzlies. Not much to talk about in this third quarter, just a lot of defense. Ball placed at the 48-yard line. Rhodes empty in the backfield. A.J. Vaccaro, the tight end. 4 wide receivers split out. Brian Bradley comes off the middle, and it was nearly intercepted out in the flat by number 29 for the Knights, but it's ended up a completion, it looks like.
Yeah,
dropped by Dawson Curry, but Aiden Bruton right there came out from his linebacker position and nearly had one, and he would have had a lot of running room too.
Well, he read the eyes of Brody Rhodes all the way, stepped in front of that ball, and if he makes that catch right there, it's pick 6. He's taking it the other way, more than likely to the house, but just couldn't quite secure it. And then it was nearly caught, as you said, on the deflection there by Curry, sliding to the ground. He just couldn't hold it.
So 2nd and 10. 4 wide receivers once again. Another tight end in the formation. Rhodes is a draw all the way. He's got a little bit of running room, and he carries it close to the first down marker. He'll be cut down about a 2-3 yards short, and it'll bring up 3rd and short for the Grizzlies on the 40-yard line.
Yeah, more than likely 4-down territory right here. Even if they don't get the first down on this play, you got to feel like in a game like this, two plays basically to get 2 yards. You like the Grizzlies' chances the way their offensive line has been able to step up here tonight, as we talked about. DeBrowa, the center, the anchor there in the middle, leading them up.
Brody Rhodes, once again, same formation, 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. A.J. Vaccaro coming over to get some orders, talking to Rhodes, and now he'll join him in the backfield. So 3 wide receivers, 1 running back. It looks like a designed run. Rhodes has a lot of room. Look out. He's got a clear path to the end zone. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. You can put it on the board. Brody Rhodes with his 2nd touchdown scamper of the year, and the Grizzlies are out in front 13-6, pending the extra point. And a good answer from this Creekview Grizzlies offense.
One of the keys to the game there, limit Brody on the ground, and they've done a really good job of getting folks on him. They've run that draw a couple times tonight, and that time they just weren't ready for it, and he found that seam. But he made a great cut. Once he got into the line, he made that Jameer Gibbs-type cutback, and he was gone. So nobody on that side to get him.
Andy Moncada comes in to attempt the extra point. Was 3 for 3 last week and a field goal today, or an extra point today, excuse me. So that's 5 for 5 for him on the season. His point is up and good. So it's 14-6 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update. We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back to listen to WLJA 101.1 FM.
Not every road is worthy of a postcard, but don't tell that to the new Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. Where you see 8 hours of road trip torment with stop-and-go traffic, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 with a 60,000-mile warranty sees a sun-filled family safe drive.
The Michelin Cross Climate 2 tire is safer for longer than leading competitors. Discover more at Michelin.com.
Turn to the experts and get a premium tire with premium service. Only at Canton Tire and Wheel in Canton.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing, compared to Michelin LTX MS, the 70,000-mile warranty only applies to E-metric sizes.
Welcome back to the WLJA Cherokee County Game of the Week. The Creekview Grizzlies just got on the board. It's 14-6 behind the Brody Rhodes Scamper. That drive, 3 plays, 48 yards, all Rhodes on the ground, 1 minute and 4 seconds of possession for them. So Rhodes, the Rhodes drive, if you will. Fitting for his name.
Yeah, and did it with his legs as we talked about. I mean, he's a guy that can beat you in a lot of different ways. They haven't really thrown the ball a lot tonight, for sure. But, again, just a great cut, as Vaughn said. Just a great read right there. All the blocking and the setup was towards the near side, and Brody kind of ran back against the grain there and found a little bit of a seam as the River Ridge defense kind of over-pursued the play a little bit, kind of going along with the flow there. And just a great cut, and then got back to the far side in the open field, and no one was there.
Andy Moncada, the kicker. Creekview typically has pooched this kick to begin with, so River Ridge only has a guy back at the 15. And it's another kind of a squib kick, and the Knights just fall on it at the 34-yard line. So that's where they'll set up shop. And the Knights did a good job last time answering with a field goal when the Grizzlies got into the end zone. Let's see what they can do here with about 4 minutes left to go in the third period.
Yeah, I think Trevor's probably got his defense over there going, no penalties. Don't give them 10, don't give them 15, don't give them a personal foul. Make them earn everything they're going to get right here, because when they do that, River Ridge has really had trouble finding any kind of space out there to move the football.
The main thing they need is first downs. They just haven't had a lot of first downs. There's been a drive or two, if you look at the field goal drives. But other than that, got to put something together right here and presumably get points here.
Latham with Amir behind him. Turned around, it's a handoff to Amir on the left-hand side. Tries to make a couple people miss, and he does. Still on his feet, but he's going to be driven down by a group of Grizzlies. Isaac Hubert out there, Cole Hasty out there, a whole group of Grizzlies, and that's a loss of about, let's see where they mark him here, a loss of about 4 or 5. And it looks like it'll be a solid 5 on the loss. So 2nd and 15 for the Knights.
Well, we knew they were going to line up and go after number 5. I mean, I think that was obvious. Any time, you're playing against River Ridge, you got to try and take them away. Problem is no one's been able to do that. But this Creekview defense has shown a lot of discipline here tonight, filling the gaps and just really bottling up Morrison. Just has not had a lot of room to run.
4 wide receivers. It's a quick pass to Canes. It's out over the middle, just too high of a pass, and it's fallen incomplete, but a penalty flag comes in late. Not sure what was out there.
It came in from the back judge, yeah.
Thrown really kind of behind the play. Ball was tipped quite often.
Yeah, I think they're gonna call that a hold. Defensively, a hold there coming off the line.
And it seems we might have lost them for just a second. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and try to get them back as soon as possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria speaking for Woodstock Furniture Outlet and Woodstock Mattress Stores.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Now we know during post-COVID everybody's raising their prices, not us. And at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet we have the best 0% interest-free financing available. Come and see us at the furniture store in Akron, Hiram, Rome, and come and see our mattress-only stores in Canton, Kennesaw, and Douglasville and get the best savings.
What? Go ahead. All right, we welcome you back here again. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We will hopefully have everything fixed here in just a moment. 3rd down and 2 for the Knights as they trail 14-6 here in the ball game, and they'll run it straight ahead to Morrison, who picks up maybe a yard, but still going to be yards shy of a first down. And now decision time for River Ridge from their own 42. Do they want to go for this? Still 2 minutes left here in this third quarter, but you got to feel like there have not been a lot of drives in this football game offensively for either side, so it looks like Coach Michael Collins will roll the dice right here and go for it on 4th and 1 from their own 42. Carson Latham under center. The Grizzlies cheat a bunch of guys up. It's a quarterback sneak, trying to push him ahead, but I'm not sure. He's going to be right at the line. I think with a last little surge there, they will give Latham the first down by the nose of the football, and they are going to give him a first down. So, man, big gamble there, Vaughn. But what do you think of that call there? Mike Collins, obviously, with the call.
I think he missed it. I think it's a point in the game, down 8, not moving the ball, but I don't think he can get it back to Creekview. Here we go, first down and 10 for River.
That's long. That one deflected down at the 42-yard line as Carson Latham let that one go on a 1st and 10. And haven't been a lot of River Ridge first downs here tonight in this football game. And they'll have a 2nd and 10 right here. But I think at this point in the ball game with 1:35 in the third quarter, you got to think that, again, you don't know how many more drives you're going to have trailing by 8. And River Ridge, of course, with the 4th down conversion there by the nose of the football. 2nd down and 10. They'll throw it out to Morrison, this time out of the backfield, but he is hemmed in. He's going to lose yardage. And even on the pass plays throughout the night, they have not been able to get Morrison in space against this Grizzly defense. All right, so 3rd down and 17. Still having some technical difficulties. We do apologize, trying to get them worked out right here. We will try to get everyone else back on as soon as possible. A big 3rd down and 16 right here. They will split Morrison out with trips to the near side, but looking downfield's Latham. He'll take a shot, throws that one into the middle of the field, but it will fall short, and it will be incomplete, so it will be 4th down. So after the short 4th down conversion from their own 42, they snap it 3rd and 16 from their own 37. And they were trying to find Canes long over the middle, and it just would not happen there, so it will be 4th down in River Ridge at this point. Still 1:21 left in the third quarter, but they really have no choice but to punt the football. And so here we go. Scotty Rutherford stands at his 22. Dawson Curry back deep for Creekview. He stands at his own 30. And this one is a short punt off the side of his foot, and they're just going to need this one down at midfield. But, boy, that's an extremely short punt, just 13 yards on the punt. They keep it away from the deep men, but that one is a short one off the foot of Rutherford. So, once again, an extremely short field for the Grizzlies, who will actually take this first down snap from the River Ridge 49. And it will be first down. 14-6 on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard. The Grizzlies lead it 14-6 over River Ridge, and the 9th meeting all time between these two. And now Creekview's offense goes back to work.
Yeah, big thing for Rhodes here. Turned around, handoff to Tyler Stevens. He's met hard right across midfield, so out around the 46-yard line. And it'll bring up 2nd and 6. So coming into this one, you had to feel like River Ridge had to make some things happen here with a minute left. And that's the big thing, is that minute left here in the third quarter on the Sutherland Nissan scoreboard update. Once again, our score 14-6 in favor of the Grizzlies. Creekview will line up here. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Rhodes going to have a conversation with his tight end. A.J. Vaccaro, the running back here, seeing less of Stevens in the second half. And he's being tended to by the training staff. A little weak on that left leg here. Turn around, hand off to Vaccaro. He's going to hit the hole hard, and he fumbles it. And it's a scoop for the ball. Let's see who falls on it. Looks like River Ridge's ball. And the Knights aren't pointing in the right direction, but it looks like they do have the ball, and they do. Wow. So the 3rd turnover for the Creekview Grizzlies. As the ball was stripped by the Knights, that was Andrew Bingham, who was actually playing corner there, stripped the ball. And the Creekview Grizzlies fumble another one.
Wow, 3rd turnover of the night by this River Ridge defense as they take it away. So, and it could not have come at a better time. Creekview obviously with a very short field right there and an 8-point lead. And the Knights are able to turn them away again. We talked about turnovers being the great equalizer in this ball game. And so far they have been, because Creekview at times has driven the length of the field. But they've only got 2 touchdowns to show for it. So if you're River Ridge, you're breathing a little bit of new life right here. And you got to feel like to a certain extent, you've been given another opportunity in this ball game here at the end of the third quarter. So, again, with Amir Morrison, you're just one play away, from possibly tying this ball game up with a 2-point conversion.
Here we go. The pass completed out to the middle of the field. Looks like Riley Canes with the reception. He breaks a few tackles, and he's out close to midfield. Falls forward to about the 45-yard line, and the Knights are rolling here with just 10 seconds left on the clock here in the third period.
Yeah, that was Andrew Bingham. They got it to him that time, just a short pass, but he was able to get some yards after contact there, broke a tackle or two, and picked up the first down.
Clock rolling, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Let's see if they decide to snap it here. Latham surveys, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. So with that, we'll take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back to listen to the WLJA Game of the Week.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics is dedicated to keeping you at the top of your game.
Welcome back to the Grizzly Den here in Canton, Georgia. We've got a good one here for you. The River Ridge Knights driving, but they're down by 8. It's 14-6. Creekview in control of this one so far, but there's a lot of football to be played. 12 minutes put on the clock. A fresh set of downs for the Knights. Move those chains. They didn't get to say it. Amir Morrison in this one been pretty quiet, but Carson Latham having something to say about going down quietly here.
Did you turn off Vaughn's mic on purpose? Or,
well, actually, we've had for people that don't know, we've had a little bit of technical difficulties here going back and forth. So we're trying to make things work. Latham, empty backfield surveys, going out over the middle. Riley Canes had it in his hands and dropped. Man, just had it right. That's the second one he's had over the middle of the field and just dropped it. And number 21 came up for the Grizzlies and laid down the hit, Isaac Hubert.
Yeah, we felt like coming into the game that Riley Canes would be kind of a differentiator for the River Ridge offense, especially with Jackson Head now out of the lineup certainly tonight. And he's had his opportunities, but I believe that's like his third drop of the night. One was a touchdown, would have been a touchdown early in the ball game. So Canes got to find a way to grip that football here as this ball game gets late because everything becomes important.
Amir Morrison set in motion in front of the formation, fakes the handoff. Creekview bringing a blitz. It's a flare out to Morrison. He's got plenty of room. 50, 45, makes a man miss. 40, 30. Can he outrun him? 20, 15, and he's finally drugged down right at the 10-yard line. When you need Morrison out in space, you find a way to get it to him. What a beautifully designed offensive play. Wow, just like that, the River Ridge Knights are in the red zone, ready to attack.
Well, just his 8th reception of the season right there, but he had 56 yards receiving coming into the game, and he almost got that right there in one play. So that's the play that this River Ridge offense has been needing to get back in this football game right here. Of course, we know last week, 272 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, runs all of 70, 68, and 31. That time turned a big play, a short play, into a big play.
Cowbells rocking here on the Creekview sideline. Send a man in motion. That's the backup running back, Tyler Carter. Turned off, it's a handoff to Carter. He makes a man miss, carries it out, a little bit of running room, and he's finally drugged down for a gain of about 4 yards. Make it 2nd and 6 at the 11-yard line for the Knights.
Yeah, big play right there, a little change of pace, running back coming into the game right there. And, you got plenty of time here. I mean, here's the thing. Even if you go in and score right here, you don't necessarily have to go for 2 in this situation. I think with 11-21, if you score here in the next minute or so, you play defense, get the ball back.
So here we go. Latham surveys the field. He's going to escape the pocket, but he's going to be brought down hard on the outside. Trying to get a number there for you. Dave with the binoculars be able to help me out here.
Yeah, that is 28
Chase
right
Disney.
there. Yeah, Chase Disney.
All right. Magical play right there from the Magical Kingdom.
Boy, he brought the kingdom that time.
There you go.
That's for sure on that sack play right there. Latham pressure stepped up into the pocket, but Disney comes out of nowhere We talked about him and what he's done. 28 tackles, 3 sacks this year. Is certainly a big guy. As a linebacker, he comes in there and makes a lot of plays.
Big play here, 3rd and long. 5 wide receivers split out. Amir Morrison motions in, and it looks like there's going to be a stop here, a timeout against Creekview. A quick score update here for you. Cherokee up 28-21.
Keith Adams Jr. We knew it was going to happen sometime tonight. The first half was AJ. Keith Adams Jr. scores, makes it 28-21 Cherokee.
All right. How about that? So Cherokee up 28-21 over there, so it's no longer the just the show of the quarterbacks, if you will. Shootout, however you want to put it.
Well, we knew that'd be a good ball game right there coming in. Both teams, unbeaten coming into that ball game. Roswell at home is always a tough game, and we knew it'd be a dogfight back and forth. This game right here, though, you look at it, we haven't talked a lot, remarkably, about Amir Morrison simply because he's been bottled up all night long, but we've seen shades of what he can do. He kind of reminds me a lot of a running back by the name of Monte Williams, who, of course, played at Commerce and won a state championship back in 2000, was the state's all-time leading rusher, and not a very big guy, 5'7", 160 pounds or so, but, again, a guy that could certainly play.
3rd and 14, and there's now a false start against the River Ridge Knights, so to go from 3rd and 14 to 3rd and 19. So the Knights having a lot of pre-snap penalties. I'm sure that's something that they will address next week, and Coach Collins can't be happy with that.
Well, Alex Montez, the senior lineman for Creekview, came onto the field late, and yet River Ridge still committed a penalty there, so that it could have went either way. A little bit of confusion right here from both sides here in this particular situation, but that one going against the Knights. So, yeah, you're right. Will, 3rd and 19 now, backed up out to their own 25.
Carson Latham joined by Amir Morrison. 3rd and 19. Morrison floats out. And he's drugged down while he's being blocked. Sam Manuzzi has his 2nd sack of the game. My goodness, as he was being blocked by number 53, the left tackle, Cal Began, he reached out and grabbed Latham and drug him down for a huge loss all the way back to the 31-yard line. And decision time here for the Knights. Kind of out of field goal range. 4th and 26. Do you really want to go for it? Tyler Carter checks into the game along with Amir Morrison. Number 4 checks out of the game. Preston Cox, the senior, 5'11", 150 pounds. Haven't called his name tonight. Riley Kane's in there as well.
Yeah, that sack hurt because that definitely took you out of Rutherford field goal range, so it looks like they'll just throw it up here.
See what they can do. Trips to the near side. One lone wide receiver to the top. Pressure's already on, and he's drugged down, but a flag comes in on the near side.
That'll be a hold, but
if it stands, it looks like number 47 there, Cole Hasty up there on the sack. So that's his 5th sack of the season.
It's just so hard against this defense.
Pre-snap penalty on the Knights declined, illegal formation.
Start. It's so hard to get anything downfield against this Creekview defense because they're going to bring pressure from somewhere. And you only have so much time as an opposing quarterback to stand in there and let something develop. And that time, you're 4th and, a mile and a half, and you've got to let time for those receivers to get downfield and let something develop. And Creekview just didn't let that happen. They could have easily rushed 3 and dropped 8, but that's just not what this team does. They just keep the pressure on you all night long.
Here we go. Rhodes comes out to join his team at the huddle. 9 minutes and 40 seconds left, here. Ball set up at the 38-yard line. River Ridge defense set here. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, along with 4 defensive backs. Typical set here. 4-3-4. Rhodes turns around, handoff right at the middle. Looks like Vaccaro on the carry. Only a gain of maybe 1 if a generous spot. A gain of nothing, let's call it. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, but I like the play call here, and not to get too conservative, but you obviously want to run the clock here in this situation. Hadn't really been able to come up with the big plays to kind of put that second score, make it a 2-score ball game. So, the main thing that Creekview has to do right now is take care of the football. They've turned it over 3 times tonight, and that's kind of kept River Ridge in this ball game. But, got to be able to run the football still, got to be able to pound it up in there and get first downs and try to wear this defense down a little bit.
3 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end. Looks like the running back is Cole Hasty. He puts a hand down in the backfield. Dawson Curry set in motion. He'll play in the slot, fake the handoff, rolls out to Curry. It's an out route, and he's going to be cut down by a group of Knights. Good tackle to keep him in bounds. Gang tackle, number 1, number 11 on the tackle. As we mentioned for the Knights, we call his name quite a bit. That is Cohen Liner, and he's also joined by Connor Gross coming up to make the tackle from the safety position over there. So a good group of tackling there. Brings up third and about 7.
Yeah, neither defense has given up the big play tonight, and we talked about that coming in. That was certainly a key to the game was, for Creekview is not allow the big runs by Morrison. They haven't done that, but River Ridge equally has not allowed the big play over the top either from this Creekview offense as well. So neither team really has delivered that knockout blow yet.
Rhodes rolls out to the left-hand side. Got a little bit of running room, but he's brought down by a group of Knights really hard. So a good open field tackle out there. Hard to get a number, but I believe that's Aiden Bruton out there on the outside who came up with that tackle. Yeah. So to bring up fourth at about 6 and an obvious punting situation for the Grizzlies as the clock rolls under 8 minutes now.
Yeah, very interesting. Neither of these offenses, like we said, have been able to get a lot of things going here tonight. And Creekview again just put the ball in the hands of their quarterback and try to get around the corner to the outside and try to get to the first down. But again, this River Ridge defense, as you said, Aiden Bruton's been on the edge all night long making plays and no gain as well. So now they'll have to punt it right back.
Dawson Curry, the punter, once again lends itself to a bit of trickeration if you wanted to. He is obviously an athlete, being the wide receiver. And Micah Martineau back to return the kick. His heels are placed at the 20-yard line. Anything over his head, he's letting it roll. Anything in front, he's coming up to catch it. Catch by Curry, a good over-end punt, coming out to the near side of the field, and it's caught. And he did not signal the fair catch, but he makes a man miss, and he's finally wrapped up. What a good decision to keep it on the ground, I suppose. He was hit almost immediately, but he's coming up limping here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Once again, Micah Martineau. Also plays receiver, defensive back, all over the place. Really just call him a true athlete. And he makes his way over to the huddle here.
Yeah, a lot of courage there.
A lot. Maybe blind courage.
Maybe a little bit too much there. But, just trying to make something happen. You appreciate that. Martineau, again, a junior, trying to make something happen on special teams to give his team good field position right there. Actually broke the initial contact, which is impressive enough, in its own right, and was able to pick up a couple yards.
So here we go. 4 wide receivers split out, Latham and Amir. Latham gets the snap, fakes the handoff, and it's a pitch out to the middle. Just a bad pass out there for Riley Canes. A little bit of miscommunication, it looks like. Bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I think he thought the receiver was going to cut back out over the far flat, but he kind of came in there, and Latham is rolling to his right. The receiver's kind of going the other way there, and that play was off from the start. But, Will, 7:05 here left in the ball game. River Ridge trailing by 8 with everything that's happened. You're still one big play away. And Art Mosley, he called it. He felt like, he'd be bottled up all night, but then Morrison maybe would have that big run towards the end. So let's see if that happens.
4 wide receivers, trips to the far side, being chased by Isaac Hubert. He gets it out to Micah, and Micah gains about 3 yards, bring up 3rd and 7.
Well, obviously a situation right here where you're not really in 4-down territory because you're on your own end of the field. You've got your timeouts left. You got time here. But if you're River Ridge, you'd love to get a first down in this situation because the last thing you want to do trailing, here's the thing. Even if you score, you still got to hit a 2-point conversion, to tie the game, assuming that, they only got a drive left or so. So big play right here for River Ridge to try to stay on the field. Big play for Creekview to try to get off of it.
Sends a wide receiver in motion. Wide receiver screen set up, and that's going absolutely nowhere.
Well, helmet's flying now.
Blown up immediately in the backfield. Looks like Chase Disney came up and made the tackle. Was also joined by Grant Anderson on the sack.
Earlier when Amir had the screen pass and takes it down, 9 times out of 10, most opponents they're playing, he's taking that to the house. Creekview had enough guys back. They're disciplined enough. They held him out of the end zone, and then all of a sudden River Ridge walks away with that with 0 points instead of at least getting 3 up. The pressure they bring and from where they bring it from is relentless. And like you said earlier, Carson Latham, he doesn't know where it's coming from, so he doesn't know which way to roll necessarily. And there's just no time to throw a pass downfield. Everything is short.
6 minutes and 22 seconds left. Flag comes in here, back where the kick return is. I wonder if it's a delay of game, and it is. 12 men on the field against Creekview. Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
So it goes from 4th and 6 to 4th and 1. Oh, boy. Now that presents an interesting...
Well, that changes the complexion, I think. And we saw them go for it here in the similar situation on the last
And they're going to run the offense back onto the field, it seems.
Yeah. They went for it from their own 42 on 4th and 1. So they're the same situation, yeah.
They're on the 38 here, so only need a yard. 4th and 1, 6 minutes, 22 seconds left to play. Let's see what they can do here. Most likely, you have to watch Morrison on a short run like this. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Turn around, hand off to Morrison. He's going to try and find a little bit of running room. He's got the first down and some more. And a good open field tackle by Chase Disney, but he's brought down at about the 47-yard line. But move those chains enough for the River Ridge Knights to keep this drive alive, and a huge penalty for the Creekview Grizzlies.
Well, I tell you what, the River Ridge Knight fans were holding their breath on that one because they needed a yard. They handed it to Morrison right up the middle, but it wasn't there. He had to bounce it outside and try to go backwards and then turn the corner, which he did. Creekview that time, one of the rare times tonight, they did not set the edge. Morrison able to pick up the first down.
Here we go. Latham surveys the field. It's a pass, and he hits it out in the flat, and he completes the pass. Gain of about 4 or 5. Let's see where they mark him here. And that was a completed pass out to Amir Morrison, so had him out on the far side of the field, farthest away from us. Well, and a gain of about 4. So 2nd and 6 at the 49-yard line, as close to the 50 as you can get. Here we go. 4 wide receivers, empty backfield once again, but Amir Morrison is the wide receiver on the far side of the field. Latham gets the ball, surveys out over the middle. He got Riley Canes, and he just drops it yet again. That's his 3rd drop of the game. Hit him right in the hands and just can't bring it down.
May have been more than that. I mean, he's dropped several. Now, he's had several hit his hands. Now, that one would have been a good catch away from his body, but very catchable. Got his hands on it. And so anytime you do that, big tight end, big target, just had trouble tonight catching the ball away from his body. And, again, you've got to be able to bring that pass in right there. This may be 4-down territory the rest of the way. I know there's some time left, but with the ball being at midfield, I would expect River Ridge to just go for it, even if they don't get it right here.
A rare silence filled the air here. Ball on the 49-yard line. Morrison sent in motion. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left in this one. 14-6 in favor of the Grizzlies. Latham surveys, tries to find Morrison out there in the flat, and that's incomplete. Morrison, once again, kind of outmatched out there. 5'7", 155 pounds, going up against the likes of Cale Williams and Peyton Parker.
Yeah, just not enough there. Had him pinned up against the sideline. They always say use the sideline as an extra defender. When you're a corner or, you're a DB or you're playing somebody down the sideline, that sideline's your best friend. Use it as another defender. That time they just kind of forced Morrison out wide. There just wasn't enough of a window to throw that ball in. But here we are, 4th down 6. River Ridge from their own 49. 5.5 minutes left here in the ball game, but there's not been a lot of drives. They're just going to line it up, Will.
5 minutes, 30 seconds left. Morrison once again sit in motion. Fakes the handoff, surveys the field, over the middle, and it's completed. Can't see a number. Looks like it's number 2.
Bingham, yeah.
Andrew Bingham with a huge catch. Thought he was going for Canes again, but Bingham brings it down enough to move those chains. The second 4th down conversion of the drive. And with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left here to go, River Ridge doing everything they can to put up a last-ditch effort to try and put some points on the board. Coming down to the wire here.
Still plenty of time left here in the ball game. 5.5 to play, 3 timeouts. So, again, on the move here.
Here we go. Fakes the handoff. It's a jump pass out there towards Andrew Bingham once again. A gain of about 8. Let's call it 7. 2nd and 3, but well into Creekview territory now.
I'm surprised they didn't throw to Morrison on the play before out of the backfield because he was open, and there was a lot of room to run, but Latham just kind of wound up as he does and threw that ball kind of deep over the middle, about 12, 15 yards. Was able to find Bingham for the first down. They go right back to him for a short, quick hitter.
A rare silence fills the air here in the den. Handoff to Morrison. That's Cox. And a good tackle out there in space by number 31, Nick Stewart.
If you're River Ridge right here in this situation, you want to try to score as quick as you can because here's the thing. You get down there, you score, you miss a 2-point play.
You got to get
You got all
back.
3 timeouts, and if you score here, there's 4.5 and counting right here. But you don't want to let this time tick away here because if you don't get the 2-point play, you want to at least be able to kick back off, call the timeouts, have time to get the ball back.
3 wide receivers to the far side in a trips formation, 1 loneman down to the bottom. That's Preston Cox. Amir Morrison's the running back. It's a handoff to Morrison on a design draw, and he's going absolutely nowhere. It'll bring up 4th down and about 2. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Tackled by a gang of Grizzlies. Not Ethan Durham. The younger brother of Ethan Durham, number 9, coming up to make the tackle there. Jonah Durham and also Chase McNeil came up from the defensive end position.
Well, they tried to take advantage of the over-aggressiveness, but great job that time by Creekview being patient, staying home, and here's another 4th down.
Let's see what they can do with this one. 4th and 3. 2 4th down conversions on this drive. It's a design pass. It's a quick slant over the middle, and it's caught by Andrew Bingham, and he's out across the 15-yard line, and River Ridge just making it happen. Move those chains. Enough for a River Ridge first down. They are in the red zone.
Well, I tell you what, this team won't go away. Creekview may be the more experienced in this situation as we've talked about, but this River Ridge team showing a lot of composure. That's their third fourth down conversion this quarter, second on this drive as they continue to chip away and somehow or another find ways and find the open guy. Did Carson Latham that time.
3 minutes, 30 seconds left and counting. 3 wide receivers turned around, hand off to Amir. He bounces off the right-hand side, makes a couple of people miss, and he's close. End zone, touchdown, Amir. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left, and Amir Morrison takes it into the end zone. It's 12-14, pending the extra point, which we assume they will not kick the field goal but go for 2. With 3 minutes and 9 seconds left here, the River Ridge side erupts, and silence falls on the Creekview side. It's 14-12. Amir Morrison, his first touchdown scamper of the game. Wow, we got a game.
Well, here we go. Big play right here, needless to say. 2-point play. Try to tie it up right here with 3:09 left.
Mixing the formation, Carson Latham now joining the backfield, not by Amir, but Preston Cox. Amir in motion. Turned around, fakes the handoff, pitches it to the outside, and it's a pass, and it's caught! Oh, what an unbelievable play! Holy cow, they pitched it to Riley Caines, and he completed the pass to Andrew Bingham for the touchdown, or for the 2-point conversion. Holy cow, we're tied at 14! Wow!
Boy, that was as close to the Philly special
Philly
as you can get right there. Man, oh man, just an unbelievable play there. They basically ran an option play to Riley Caines, the tight end who came around the formation. Creekview was sitting all over the play. Of course, Latham pitches it to the right to Caines, and Caines is bottled in. It looked like he's going to get tackled, and then he pulls up, throws a pass right at the pylon, a yard deep in the end zone over on the far side, and the grab is made. And I'm not sure who that was. I don't know if that was Bingham that climbed the ladder.
I believe it was Andrew Bingham coming up. There's an injured Knight down on the field, and getting a number here. Number 18, that's Micah. As we mentioned, playing defensive back and wide receiver.
So was that Martineau that made the grab there, maybe on the 2?
Micah Martineau, I believe, might have been the one to get it. It was out on the far side, so we couldn't really see it. But it's tied, folks. It's 14-14.
What an unbelievable play right there. So with everything that's happened here tonight, now granted, Creekview's turned the ball over 3 times, but River Ridge, Morrison bottled in all night long. May not, obviously well shy of what he averages. And now if you're River Ridge, you get the 2-point play here. Now you want to play defense.
3 minutes and 9 seconds left to go. 14-14. The kick is up, and they're going to kick it deep this time by Scotty Rutherford, and it's a good kick, and it's going, out of bounds. Yikes, right at the 1.5-yard line. Oh, boy. So that'll bring the ball out to the 40-yard line for the Grizzlies, so they'll have a short field to work with here with 3 minutes and 9 seconds left.
Yeah, it's a big penalty right there. You certainly don't want to get them to bring it out to the 35 there. 3:09, and, again, Creekview's got a couple timeouts here. They're not going to be in too big a hurry. River Ridge has all 3 timeouts. What I was going to say is even if they don't get the 2-point play, it's not the end of the world. They still could kick it deep there. Of course, get the ball back, get the timeouts, get the ball back, but now that's a moot point. They hit the 2-point play. So now all of a sudden if you're Creekview or River Ridge, you're probably thinking, man, we left them too much time here. But what an opportunity now for the Creekview offense to go down and mount what could be the game-winning drive here.
Well, out to the 35, not the 40, not professional football. Rhodes barking orders to A.J. Vaccaro. Tyler Stevens not in the game. Been banged up throughout the day. Gets the snap. It's a designed run by Rhodes, and he carries it out to the middle field, but a flag here is going to be a hold. And that's coming back for sure. It would have been enough for a first down, but let's see who it's on here. I believe it's on number 52, Anthony Dorr, the guilty party, holding number 21, which is Danny Endur.
I mean, the thing is, Will, now we're tied up, and like Dave said, even if they did not get that 2-point conversion, Creekview's offense the second half has shown no ability to move the football and sustain a drive. And Tyler Stevens has been it's been a while since he was in the game, right? Is he dinged up?
Yeah, I've seen him off the sideline a few times.
Okay, yeah, it looks like he just can't quite get over something, and they're definitely missing him getting those 3- and 4-yard carries.
Yeah, A.J. Vaccaro, a serviceable back, of course, just not the size of Tyler Stevens, about 30 pounds lighter. 14-14 here. Surveys the field, and it's a pass. It looks like it's going to be completed, and it is. Nice slant by Chase Wright. Good reception there. So get some of the yardage back. Of course, they did get pushed back to first and 20. Looks like it'll set up about second and 13. A gain of 7 there, with 2 minutes and 35 seconds running on the clock. Clock still running. Now comes the fun part where you're playing the chess game of don't go too fast, but go fast enough where you can score.
Right. Well, they don't want to leave enough time to where they got to put this ball away and give it back to River Ridge with any considerable time on the clock.
River Ridge has all 3 timeouts. Creekview has 2. Rhodes communicating on the outside with Hayden Thompson. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. It's a quick slant all the way, and it's completed to Summers out there on the outside, Tristan Summers. And he goes out of bounds. So with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the final quarter here, it's going to bring up 3rd and about 7.
Well, we may very well be headed for an extra frame or so. I mean, I don't know. But here's the thing. He got out of bounds right there. Well, that stops the clock. So River Ridge may have burned a timeout right there to
try
possibly get the ball back. But now they don't have to. They keep it in their pocket. So big play right here because, Creekview, obviously if they don't make it right here, they're on their end of the field. They certainly wouldn't want to turn it over and give them a short field. So if they don't convert right here, River Ridge will get this football back.
Big play, 3rd and 8. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. Brody barking out orders for the play call. River Ridge might be bringing pressure. Linebackers discussing. Only bring 3. Rhodes surveys. He's trying to run with it. And he's going to be chased. Not brought down. It's going to be close, and he's brought down from behind. Oh, man. Only a gain of about 2 or 3 yards. And we got whistles now. I believe River Ridge would burn a timeout here. And they do with 1:50 left. So it's going to be 4th down and about 4 for the Grizzlies. The ball is on the Grizzlies' 41-yard line. Good tackle out there and good pursuit by the Knights. Was flushed out of the pocket originally by Hunter Coleman, finally brought down by Liam Bruton.
Yeah, big pressure right there, and that time they forced Brody away from the routes. They had a couple of receivers over here near side, but the pressure came and forced him back to the other side of the field, and he didn't have anybody over there. He had one guy deep right up against the sideline, but he was covered, so Rhodes really had no choice but to try to run that football, and he was a tackle away from, picking up the first down, but 4 yards shy here, 4th and 4 from the 41, their own 41. So certainly a situation right here where they're, more than likely, presumably they're going to punt the football here, I would think. River Ridge, though, is going to keep their defense on the field. They're not even going to put anyone back deep, just because. And now they will drop a Martineau back, but everyone else defensively stays in.
Dawson Curry, once again the punter, also serves as wide receiver, so does lend itself to some trickeration. Gets the snap, and it's a good punt, end over end. Micah Martino back to return this one, lets it bounce. 20, 15, never signaled for a fair catch. And they missed block in the back call there. The Creekview fans reacting, but it doesn't turn into much. Only gets it out to about the 19-yard line. So they do have a long way to go with 1:39 left against one of the best defenses not only in the county, but in the state. 14-14. River Ridge offense versus Creekview defense. We've been advertising it all week. This is the showdown that you wanted to see, and it's in prime time here on WLJA. Where else would you want to be on a Friday night?
Man, under the lights here at the Grizzly Den out here in Macedonia, and it's always a great venue, great atmosphere, and this meeting, we knew it'd be a good one. I mean, last year it came down to the final play, so why would this one be any different, especially in a year where River Ridge is 5-0 for the first time?
All predictors had this game within just a few points. 5 wide receivers split out for the Knights. Surveys the field, a pass, and he's cut down, caught immediately. That was a caught by Bingham, a gain of about 4 yards, and they signaled it incomplete. No, the side judge signaled it incomplete, but I believe he's been overruled here, and you'll hear the Creekview fans reacting here.
Well, the main thing is the clock's not running. I mean, the clock should be running right now if it was called a completion.
I agree.
And so
now there's some confusion because the side judge is marking it here, and now we're going to have a discussion about this. They're going to have to figure something out here. Was it incomplete? Was there a flag? What's going on here?
Oh, there was a roughing the passer call on
Did
Creekview.
Not see the flag anywhere.
Oh wow!
So oh boy!
So a roughing the passer call here. So man, that'll get the ball all the way out to the 39.
You can hear the boos echoing from the fans
home side,
here.
Yeah.
So River Ridge has a good crowd on hand. So do the Grizzlies. 1:34 left. Ball placed at the 39-yard line. 14-14. River Ridge offense versus Creekview defense. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force. Latham surveys. Makes a couple people miss, but he's finally brought down. And it looks like that's Grant Anderson out there making the tackle.
Yeah, no gain
or
right
excuse
there.
me, Isaac Hubert.
Yeah. Well, Scotty Rutherford 2 for 2 tonight on field goals. I mean, obviously for River Ridge right now, you don't need a touchdown. You just need to get in his range, but still got a long way to go right here. No gain on that last play.
No timeout taken. 1 minute, 10 seconds here. River Ridge has 2. Creekview has 2. Amir Morrison slides out to the flat. Surveying over the middle of the field, and it's complete. Right out across the 46-yard line, and it's completed to Riley Caines, coming up big, his first completion of the game. So make the catch when you have to. First down, move those chains. Ball at the 46-yard line.
Still got time here. Still got the timeouts as well. They of course, get the first down, so now the clock just now starts.
59 seconds. Clock still rolling. 4 wide receivers. Amir sent out in the flat. Surveys, flushed out of the pocket, and he throws that one away. Riley Caines out in the area. No intentional grounding out there.
Yeah, had a receiver over their far sideline. I think they need to probably try to come back here. I mean, really, Morrison out of the backfield is really kind of a one-on-one matchup. And you got to like Amir one-on-one with anybody. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to maybe set up something with him, out of the backfield. That play's really been there all night long. But, of course, Latham's eyes have been downfield. But we'll see what happens right here. 2nd and 10 with 50 seconds left and 2 timeouts.
50 seconds. Carson Latham, 4 wide receivers. Surveys going deep. And he just overthrows his intended target. Good coverage out there. That was once again Durham out there in coverage. Not Ethan, but his brother Jonah.
Well, here's the deal. You got, you're at the Creekview 46 right here, ball across midfield. So you've got 2 chances right here. Now here's the thing. We got a timeout on the field. Yeah. I mean, if you're River Ridge right here, you want to try to pick up at least enough yardage here that even if you don't get the first down, you can maybe run the clock down a little bit so that if you don't make it on 4th down, you don't give Creekview a lot of time to do anything with it. You either take your chances in overtime, but I'm sure River Ridge right here, they, playing in a game like this on the road, they'd like to maybe take a shot, try to end it here, and if they get close enough, not sure exactly, Rutherford's long as tonight was 37 yards. I think that's as long for the year, so they still need to pick up about 20 yards right here to really have a realistic shot.
You would say probably the 40 to 45. 45 seconds left on the clock. Latham, quick pass, and it's caught by Micah Martino real close to the first down. He'll probably be about a yard short.
Yeah, it is 4th down.
So they're going to probably run this clock down as low as they can, I would assume, or are they going to go for it? Depends how they feel.
They're not his range yet, yeah.
So here we go, 25 seconds left. 5 wide receivers split out. Carson Latham on his own in the backfield. Grizzlies bringing blitz, and it's dropped, incomplete. So it's 14-14. We're tied with 17 seconds left. The Grizzlies are going to take over. Now, do the Grizzlies try and win this game here, or do they send it to overtime and play in extra innings? Oh, boy.
Well, I think a situation right here where if you Creekview, you don't want to necessarily force anything downfield and get it picked off, but at the same time, with 17 seconds left, you may take a shot and just see what happens right here. I mean, obviously, Creekview, they've got a couple timeouts as well, so the Grizzlies could potentially get a play or two, clock it, and maybe try to, give Moncada a shot if they can get down there close enough.
Andy Moncada's long of the year is 33 yards, most likely a range of close to 40. Once again, Creekview 2 timeouts, River Ridge 2 timeouts as well. Creekview breaks the huddle. Brody Rhodes comes out from the huddle here. Let's see what they do with the formation. 3 wide receivers out. A.J. Vaccaro, the running back. 1 tight end. Once again, Stevens seems a little banged up. Haven't seen him here much in the second half. River Ridge dropping some people in coverage here. Rolling out, Rhodes surveys, and he's going to take off with it here. Going to try and get out of bounds, but he's brought down. Good open field tackle out there by number 29, Aiden Bruton, and a timeout called by the Grizzlies. So with 7 seconds left, the ball will be moved out to the, quick math, 43-yard line on 2nd down and about 4.
We might have a chance here to see how much of an arm Brody Rhodes has.
Yeah.
They'll definitely have to chunk one down there. Obviously not in field goal range, and I don't think with just 7 seconds that you're going to get, a player. You're not going to get more than a play or so off to try to get into field goal range. I think you pretty much just, whatever you're going to do, you kind of have to make it happen right here. Maybe you throw a quick out to maybe pick up another 5 yards and get a little bit closer to the end zone here, but see what happens.
Real interesting decision here. Once again, that last play took 7 seconds off the clock, so good coverage out there by the Knights.
We talked about this matchup. Creekview 25-5 all time against Cherokee County. You know, they lead all 5 series now against the other schools, having, of course, played Etowah this year. River Ridge, 2009 they started. 2012 was their first full season in a region, which was 7-4A, and incidentally, they went to the playoffs that year. But that's it. They only won 5 games that year, so River Ridge with a win here tonight would basically equal their largest win total outside of the non-region 8-2 that they went in 2011. But as far as the region schedule, it's going to be a history-making season, I think, for both these teams here tonight.
3 wide receivers split out, 1 tight end, 1 running back. A.J. Vaccaro the back. It's a bootleg out to the left side. Rhodes is going to run with it all the way. Knight's coming up to try and make a couple of tackles, and time will expire, so it doesn't matter. So we're headed to overtime.
Wow.
And Rhodes is hurt. Oh, boy.
Well.
Oh, boy.
Well, and, that's what we talked about. And, I mean, obviously, when you have a talent like Brody Rhodes, you've got to utilize him. He's an athlete. He's going to run. But that's the only thing you fear. You kind of hold your breath because that was a long run right there. You feel like if he slides down, they call a timeout maybe with a second or 2 left, and it's an awfully long field goal, but you never know. Moncade has got a pretty good leg there, but obviously just trying to make something happen, but you hate that on a play like that ultimately where the clock runs 0 and now you've got to play it overtime.
Brody gets up
you hope that
and
he's
off
okay.
the field.
Yeah, he's off on his own power. That's a great sign, but yeah.
We're going to take a 30-second break. We'll introduce it back into overtime. We've got a 3-minute break here. I'll tell you what, let's take a 2-minute break since we've got 3. Is that right? We got 3 minutes till the next one so we can talk things over. We'll take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the WLJA Game of the Week.
The #1 magazine to read is Enjoy Cherokee. This beautiful full-color seasonal publication keeps you in the know with articles about interesting people, fun events, hot restaurants, and cool ideas. Enjoy Cherokee is for busy people who enjoy a lifestyle magazine worth reading and keeping. You'll find Enjoy Cherokee available at most high-traffic locations and mailed free to homes throughout Cherokee County. Join the thousands who don't miss a single issue. Follow us on Facebook and find issues on enjoycherokee.com. Ask for a free publication and enjoy.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Hi, I'm Dave Garner, your local Woodman Life representative. When I'm not broadcasting, I'm doing my best as a poverty prevention specialist to help protect families from financial hardship. Call or visit me online today and see how I can help you and your family stay protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement options. Insurance protection, financial security. That's Woodman Life, standing strong for over 130 years.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down.
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps young athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 25 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
You're listening to WLJA-FM 101.1 and WLJA HD1 LJ, Woodstock, Jasper, Canton, and all of North Georgia.
In a very, very cool series of events, Coach Trevor Williams and Coach Michael Collins come out to midfield for the coin toss here to settle things in this overtime. We're tied 14-14. River Ridge with the best offense in the county versus Creekview with the best offense or the best defense in the county, excuse me. And boy, it has been as promised. It has come down to the wire here. River Ridge with a late answer. Carson Latham coming up big time. If you missed it, the final play, Brody Rhodes came up a little bit shooken up, made off his own power though. So we'll see who they send out there. Of course, the backup is Mason Hicks, who was introduced as the scholar athlete for today. 4.22 GPA for him. And they come off the field as discussed there. And Vaughn made a good point. It seems like, obviously this is the de facto region championship. And, yes, they're looking for their undefeated season if you're River Ridge. And, region championships are great and all that. But the real prize is us. Because whoever wins this game, we're covering them next week, whether that's River Ridge and Centennial or Creekview and Riverwood. So, obviously, there's more to play for than just that.
I'm sitting here watching the end of that game, and I said, this looks like these teams are playing for a little bit more than a region championship to me.
I agree.
And that's it.
You're 100% right, and that's the big thing. So,
first time in WLJA history, a team is playing to have you guys in their stadium.
Yeah. So, we're glad that they're giving us a show here. Obviously, both the teams won it, and it looks like that Creekview will get the ball first here. And, of course, that is the strategy. So Trevor Williams won the coin toss. You do want the ball first. You start at your own 15-yard line. It is college rules. So how it works is you score a touchdown, the team gets the ball back, the opposing team, and gets a chance to score a touchdown. If you score a field goal, the opposing team gets a chance to match that score or get a touchdown. Or if they don't score, all the team has to do is score a field goal to win. But it is indicative upon the other team to match the score or beat the score. After 3 overtimes, we'll go to 2-point conversions, very similar to college rules.
Tyler Stevens back in there, Will.
Here we go. Wishbone formation. Brody Rhodes turned around, hands it to the mentioned Tyler Stevens, and he barrels forward for a gain of about 2, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, sat out a lot in the second half. He was a little bit banged up, but he's back in there for this overtime period. So, again, it's basically trying to answer in front of you. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, you do want to go first because you want to know kind of what you have to do defensively. But River Ridge in a situation right here, don't forget, they've taken the ball away from this Creekview offense a couple times here tonight. So, obviously, if they turn them away with no points, then even a field goal wins it for River Ridge on the other half.
Here we go, wishbone formation. Turned around, handoff to Stevens. Makes a few people miss, but he's going to be brought down. A gain of about 3 there. Call it 3rd and 5.
Well, this River Ridge defense has really toughened up a little bit more in the second half. We saw them coming out of the locker room at halftime with a 3-and-out against this Grizzly offense. It really dominated the ground game and the trenches in the first half. Tyler Stevens, of course, with the touchdown run there. And then, of course, Brody Rhodes, obviously, with the big run there for the touchdown as well. But now, 3rd and 5, and, if they don't make this right here, then Coach Williams is really going to have a decision. Do we just trust a 3-point, game, or do we try to go for it on 4th down?
You do have the best defense in the county. I formation here, power formation. Rhodes is in the game, by the way. Tyler Stevens tries to bounce it outside. That's going nowhere. So he gets to the 10-yard line, and it's decision time for the Grizzlies on 4th and 5.
Well, here we go. Are they going to trot the kick team out there in this situation? I haven't seen them yet.
I would say that you kick the field goal here and trust the defense, and that's what they're going to do here.
Yeah.
So they're
still got to make it.
You still have to make it. You're right about that, and so does River Ridge.
Yep.
So you take your gamble there. Once again, Andy Moncada, the kicker. 5 for 5 on extra points. Only 1 field goal in his short career, a sophomore. It was from 33 yards. This one really close to an extra point attempt, just about a yard behind that.
27-yarder, yep.
So just a little bit off to the left. Moncada's hold is good. The kick is up, and it's true. And the Grizzlies are up by 3. So now the River Ridge Knights will take over on the other end of the field, and they will get their opportunity to get a field goal. A touchdown wins it. No points loses it. So now you know what you have to do.
Yeah, so here we go. If you're River Ridge now, you kind of know, hey, this is what we want right here. Now we know what we got to do. So, a lot of times teams like to play defense first. They win the coin toss, they stop the offense, or they, know what they have to do. And so now, as you said, a touchdown wins it. And, obviously if they don't get there and they're faced with the 4th down, they have the opportunity to tie it back up with a field goal. But Creekview's defense, we know how tough they've been here tonight, so it'll be really interesting to see. We're about a week away from Halloween. Does River Ridge go to their bag of tricks right here? Do they have something in the playbook that might catch this Grizzly defense, off balance a little bit here?
The River Ridge student section heading down to the left side of the stands to try and make their voices heard. The Creekview student section to our right, the action going on to the left here in the left-hand end zone, closest to the high school. Amir Morrison joins Carson Latham in the backfield. Turned around, it's a handoff to Morrison all the way. Makes a couple people miss, and he's out across 10. Oh, man. He was just a step away from a touchdown, and he's cut down at the 4-yard line. It's 1st and goal for the Knights.
Wow, Morrison was a step away from taking that into the end zone, and now you've got 4 plays, if you're River Ridge, from the 4-yard line to try to win this game.
Best offense against the best defense. You have one of the stiffest, toughest defenses in the county versus one of the best and most explosive offenses in the county. Unstoppable force meets immovable object from the 4-yard line. And there's going to be a timeout here called by the Knights, I believe, to discuss this. Of course, they do get one timeout per overtime period, so they'll take a minute to talk this out. And, boy,
yeah,
you wanted a game?
You got it.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
Well, here's the thing. You're in a situation right now, if you're Creekview, the one thing you haven't done is taken the ball away from River Ridge tonight. So if you're the Grizzlies, you got to be thinking about ripping that ball out of there. Now, Amir Morrison's only fumbled once on the year, but this Creekview defense, they got to try to rip that ball out. They got to try to get a turnover because that would win the game for them. That may be their only chance at this point because River Ridge, obviously, from the 4-yard line and this offense warming up, number 5 is going to have a touch or two on this series, you'd have to think, obviously. So, but they called a timeout right here to try to settle everyone down and remind these guys, hey, let's protect the football. Put two hands on that football right here.
The Creekview student section, not to be outdone, makes their way down to the left-hand side to rally their troops.
Yeah, both student sections down there now.
Near the fence. It's going to go crazy no matter what happens. Cheerleaders make their way down there as well. Here we go. Carson Latham, Amir Morrison, turned around, handoff to Morrison. Makes a cut. He's close. He's in. The River Ridge Knights win it on an Amir Morrison scamper. Touchdown, River Ridge, and the Knights win it 20-17 in overtime. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Man, oh, man, what a run right there, just off tackle. And, the last couple of plays that we saw from River Ridge, they've been trying to run it all night long. Morrison just off tackle. Creekview's been able to stop those plays all night long, but the last 2 plays, he just used that small frame, that center of gravity, got lost behind the line there and just broke out of the pack. And, the little guy showed a lot of power right there on those last couple of runs to break through that Grizzly interior and find his way into the end zone. And just an unbelievable turn of events here tonight between these two, an instant classic going down to the wire in overtime between these two as River Ridge gets their first ever victory in this series.
It took the entire game and an extra period to get it done, but they do. By a final score of 20-17, the River Ridge Knights prevail over the Creekview Grizzlies. Creekview moves to 4-2 on the season. River Ridge moves to 6-0, 3-0 in region play. And the Creekview Grizzlies fall to 2-1 in region play. We'll wrap it all up for you when we come back on the Sosby Funeral Home post-game show. Once again, our final score here, River Ridge 20, Creekview 17.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria speaking for Woodstock Furniture Outlet and Woodstock Mattress Stores.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Now we know during post-COVID everybody's raising their prices, not us. And at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet we have the best 0% interest-free financing available. Come and see us at the furniture store in Akron, Hire, Monroe, and come and see our mattress-only stores in Canton, Kennesaw, and Douglasville and get the best savings.
I want to make sure that your money outlives you and that you don't outlive your money. Hi, I'm Dave Garner, your local Woodman Life representative. When I'm not broadcasting, I'm doing my best as a poverty prevention specialist to help protect families from financial hardship. Call or visit me online today and see how I can help you and your family stay protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement options. Insurance protection, financial security. That's Woodman Life, standing strong for over 130 years.
Game on! Football's back, and we're celebrating at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County. Get game-winning offers right now. Drive the best-selling 2020 Nissan Rogue, or check out the redesigned 2020 Sentra. If you try it, you'll buy it. They're that good, fun, and affordable. Catch the savings now before they're gone. Only at the all-new Sutherland Nissan Cherokee County, across from the Holly Springs Walmart. Online at NissanNorthAtlanta.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Sutherland, you paid too much.
Well, when you have two of the best teams in the county going head-to-head, it's going to take a little bit more than normal to win a game. And that's exactly what happened here. The River Ridge Knights, it took them an extra overtime period to do it, but they won 20-17 in this one. And, wow, just like that, River Ridge moves to 6-0, and they have their first victory in this matchup. And there's going to be a lot to talk about with this one.
You know, it's one of those things early where they did enough. They were getting outplayed by Creekview. Creekview looked to be the dominant team early in this game, and they were. But River Ridge did just enough to keep in this game. Creekview, some timely penalties, gave them one drive, a timely turnover, gave them another field goal early. But, you know, Mike Collins took those points, you know, stayed right there, trusted his defense. And that defense, both sides, was incredible tonight. But the resiliency of River Ridge, not having Jackson Head coming in here, one of your leading receivers, that toughness, and really got outplayed early. But they truly stayed in this game. Mike Collins, an excellent job keeping them motivated, keeping them into the game and their head in the game. And if you hang, and we said early, if they let them hang around long enough, Amir Morrison, he can do it to you.
100%. Looking at the totals here, River Ridge totaled 73 plays for 184 yards, 33 rushes for 41 yards, but most of the yards came through the air. 16 to 31, 143 yards there, 9 first downs, only prevented 5 penalties with 34 yards. Time of possession's real close, 25 minutes for the River Ridge Knights. Creekview, 54 plays, 223 yards, 172 of it on the ground on 37 rushes. Only 7 of 13 passing for 51 yards. Those passing struggles still continuing for the Grizzlies. And 7 first downs, but the big backbreaker, 9 penalties for 98 yards with 23 minutes of possession over there for them. Your player totals coming down to this one, Amir Morrison, 22 rush attempts, 62 yards. Of course, the big one being the touchdown to end the game. Also had 4 receptions for 42 yards, including a big one where they didn't end up scoring on it. Tyler Stevens, also a big rusher over there, 19 attempts for 75 yards. But as you mentioned, one of your keys to the game was not for Brody to be the leading rusher, but he was. Came in with 13 rush attempts and 94 yards for him. So obviously not what they came into this game to do, not what they wanted to do, and River Ridge made him pay.
You know, I mean, and kudos to Amir. You know, we said it early in that probably first quarter, second quarter. I mean, there was no room. He had nothing there. He was getting hit by 3 or 4 guys. Whether he touched the ball or not, many times he was still taking a hit. And, you know, I said early, you know, it'll be interesting to see if he gets a little bit down on himself, gets a little bit down. Because, I mean, again, he's used to busting that 70, 80, 60-yarder early in the game. But, you know, I would say even more praise for him at this point on a game like this where he was just hit and hit and hit. But guess what? He kept his head in the game, and that, you know, overtime was all Amir.
Yeah, 100%. This game has been one of the most exciting games we've covered. We were really excited about covering this game coming into it. There was a lot of back and forth. Man, you know, I know you guys on the podcast went back and forth. Dave and I talked a lot. There was a lot of conversation between our group. There was a lot of conversation all over the county about this one, and River Ridge proved they belong with some of the elites this year, especially in Cherokee County. Like we said, it's a lot of first years for them. First of all, they beat their first county opponent and then beat the second county opponent. Now they have their first victory in this series here. A lot of firsts for this team, also moving to 6-0.
I mean, you know, you look at River Ridge, and we hate to look too far down the road, but, you know, they've already played Chattahoochee, who's got a powerful offense, not a great defense. They played Riverwood, who was averaging 39 points a game and held them to 14 and find a way to win that game. They come into Creekview, a dominant defense, find a way to win this game. Yes, they still got Sequoia and Cambridge. They got Centennial next week. We'll be there. And then, obviously, they've got Johns Creek as well. But, I mean, Michael Collins in his second year has them in a position, you know, a long way to go and a lot of football still to play. He's got him in a position where they're technically eyeing a region championship at this point if they keep playing football. And, you know, we were impressed with both defenses, and I know early on we gave a ton of praise, and we do week over week give a ton of praise to Creekview and that stellar defense. But really, you look at River Ridge defense, you know, Creekview didn't look great on offense. Really, they were early. They were Tyler Stevens, but, you know, Brody didn't look super comfortable. You know, that's not all on Creekview. A lot of that is on River Ridge and what they were able to do, too. Brian Bradley, an absolute force up there up front, and he disrupts the run game and the pass game. So, you know, River Ridge is not a one-trick pony on offense, and Amir Morrison, they really do it well on both sides of the ball, which we said after the Etowah game.
100%. We're going to take our first break on the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show. When we come back, we will wrap up all the other scores in the area. Roswell and Cherokee still going strong over there. Art keeping us updated, so we'll get you at least the end of that game, assuming it doesn't go into overtime, but we'll see how that plays out. And we'll keep you updated on all the other scores around the area as well. Once again, you've been listening to the WLJA Game of the Week and the Sosby Funeral Home postgame show. 2 minutes, and we'll be back.
There's been so much talk about distracted driving, you're probably sick of hearing about it. Well, we'd rather you be sick of hearing about it than lose your life doing it. The caring staff with Sosby Funeral Home in Canton reminds you that we all have to go sometime, but don't rush it. Wait your turn and don't drive distracted. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and make sure you stay alert and arrive alive. Drive safely and help us protect our teens. They're the only future we've got. Brought to you by Sosby Funeral Home, honoring life from 191 Jarvis Street in Canton.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Victoria speaking for Woodstock Furniture Outlet and Woodstock Mattress Stores.
Hey y'all, it's Victoria at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet. Now we know during post-COVID everybody's raising their prices, not us. And at Woodstock Furniture and Mattress Outlet we have the best 0% interest-free financing available. Come and see us at the furniture store in Akron, Hiram, Rome, and come and see our mattress-only stores in Canton, Kennesaw, and Douglasville and get the best savings.
As an athlete, you put it all on the line each and every day. Training, skill, and dedication. It's with these same characteristics that Pinnacle Orthopedics puts it all on the line for you, ensuring that you continue to play the game you love. With 5 locations and 16 physicians and surgeons, Pinnacle Orthopedics is the team physician for Kennesaw State University, as well as for many other schools and teams. Using only the latest technologies, Pinnacle Orthopedics, 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 Pinnacle Orthopedics,